Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 1024. Crack. The sky of the inland sea was filled with dark clouds, lightning, and thunder every day. Rumble. The two giant ships were like two monsters, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws, running wildly on the surface of the sea. We've caught up. The black-robed old man looked at the sea ahead, and his pupils suddenly constricted, shooting out rays of cold light. On the horizon ahead, there was a giant ship moving forward. It was the Sage King. The gorgeous woman glanced at the Sage King and said with a smile, "Don't kill Wang Zicheng later." "Why?" The black-robed old man raised his eyebrows. "He used to look down on me when he saw me. This time, I want him to take the initiative to lie in front of me and lick my toes." The gorgeous woman's red lips curled up slightly, filled with a wild and lascivious aura. When the burly men on the two ships heard this, they couldn't help but stare at the gorgeous woman's red lips and majestic twin peaks, their mouths dry. What a promiscuous bitch. However, the black-robed old man cursed in his heart, his old eyes full of disgust. Then, he looked up at the Sage King and asked, "Does Lord Viper have any other instructions?" "Yes. No matter what the final result is, that man called Ancestor Mu must die," the gorgeous woman said. "Ancestor Mu," the black-robed old man muttered and smiled sinisterly. "It's hard for him not to die after encountering us." The Sage King. "There's Saint Aura." Wang Yu suddenly turned her head and glanced at the sea behind her. When she saw the two giant ships, her expression immediately changed. "What's wrong?" Qin Feiyang and the other two were surprised and immediately turned to look. "Not good." Wang Zicheng's expression also changed. Young Master Hao said in surprise, "Those two giant ships seem to be saint artifacts." "It's not like, it's actually one," Wang Zicheng said in a deep voice. "What's going on?" Qin Feiyang frowned. Wang Zicheng said, "Do you see the two flags on the ship?" Qin Feiyang and the other two fixed their gazes and immediately saw the pattern of the viper on the flag. "They are the viper's minions?" Young Master Hao said in surprise. "Yes. Viper has a total of 3 saint artifacts. They are Viper 1, Viper 2, and Viper 3. And these 3 sacred weapons are controlled by the one-eyed dragon, the black snake, and the red snake respectively. You all know one-eyed dragon, and black snake is the black-robed old man standing on Viper number 3. He is the cruelest of the 3. Anyone who falls into his hands will be tortured to death. And the gorgeous woman on Viper number 2 is Red Snake. This woman has a lustful nature. Her greatest pleasure is to seduce men, and then when they're having sex, she'll slit their throats when they're unprepared." Wang Zicheng said. "So cruel?" Young Master Hao was dumbfounded. Wang Zicheng said, "Most importantly, both of them are 1-star combat emperors." "All of them?" Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank. If there was only one 1-star combat emperor, they could still use the old method to assassinate him at lightning speed. But 2 1-star combat emperors wouldn't be so easy to deal with. Even the black snake and the red snake were sent out. It seems like Viper is really going against me this time. Anyway, we're in trouble this time. Wang Zicheng rubbed his head that was about to explode and was extremely vexed. Young Master Hao raised his eyebrows and lowered his head to ponder. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and looked at Wang Yu. "Sister, why don't you use charm arts to make them kill each other or drive them away?" "Charm arts?" Wang Zicheng was startled and looked at Wang Yu suspiciously. Wang Yu ignored Wang Zicheng and glanced at the people on Viper number 2 and number 3. She said, "For people like them who are filled with the desire, charm arts can indeed easily control them, but it's only limited to combat saints. The black snake and the red snake are both combat emperors. I'm afraid I can't do it." "Can't you control them by force?" Young Master Hao asked. "No. But it should be possible to confuse them a little," Wang Yu said. Qin Feiyang said, let's not take the risk and think of another way. Wang Zicheng said, there's no other way but to run. Then run. Qin Feiyang said without hesitation. If they fought head-on, even if they could kill these people, they would definitely pay a heavy price, so it was better to just run away. With his concealment art, it was very easy to escape. He looked at Wang Yuer and said in a low voice, quickly put away the Sage King's ship. In front of a powerful enemy, Wang Yuer did not dare to be negligent. She soared into the sky like lightning and waved her jade-like hand gently. The Sage King's ship immediately shrank. Qin Feiyang and the other two also left the Sage King's ship and landed beside Wang Yuer. Soon, the Sage King's ship shrank to the size of a palm and disappeared into her Qi Sea. At the same time, Viper number 2 and number 3 flew over, flanking Qin Feiyang and the other three. Brother Zicheng, we haven't seen each other for so long. You didn't even come to see me. You're too much. The gorgeous woman immediately looked at Wang Zicheng and said in a coquettish voice. Pfft. Qin Feiyang and the other two burst out laughing. Brother Zicheng? Isn't this too mushy? Goosebumps appeared on their skin. Wang Zicheng's expression was also quite awkward. He looked at the gorgeous woman helplessly and said, Hong Shi, we're all old friends. Can't you stop disgusting me? Brother Zicheng, you're so annoying. I like you so much, how could I bear to disgust you? Brother, come with me, okay? I promise I'll make you happy to death. Although her words were so explicit, the gorgeous woman did not feel ashamed at all. Instead, she kept throwing flirtatious glances at Wang Zicheng. Wang Zicheng's face darkened and he said angrily, I say, woman, can't you be more reserved? Brother, don't pretend. I know you like women like me. The gorgeous woman was not angry at all. Her eyes were full of lust, and she deliberately puffed out her chest, as if she was waiting for him to taste her. Oh my God, kill me, I'm going crazy. Wang Zicheng roared. That painful look on his face made people not know whether to laugh or cry. Don't, if you die, what will I do? I've already made up my mind to marry no one but you. The gorgeous woman looked at him pitifully. This woman is really extreme. Young Master Hao laughed secretly. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen Wang Zicheng so embarrassed. Qin Feiyang glanced at Wang Zicheng and could not help but laugh secretly. Then, he looked at Hong Shi and Black Snake, and his eyes suddenly flashed. Mississippi, he looked at Hong Shi. What's wrong? What's the matter, little brother? The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyang, and her eyes rippled. Little brother? Qin Feiyang's face twitched, and he could not help but feel disgusted. Why did he have the urge to beat this woman up? He suppressed it and said with a smile, Miss, since you're here for Wang Zicheng, we'll give Wang Zicheng to you. Please let us go. Hey, what do you mean? Are you selling your friend for glory? Wang Zicheng immediately glared at him. I have no choice. Look, there are so many of them. We don't even have a chance to escape, so I can only hand you over. Besides, Hong Shi is not bad. She has a good figure and a good face. Most importantly, she likes you so much. Don't be ignorant of your good fortune. Qin Feiyang said. I'm ignorant of my good fortune. Wang Zicheng was about to explode, and smoke was coming out of his head. It was fine if they did not help him, but they actually said that. Wasn't this adding fuel to the fire? Actually, thinking about it, Brother Mu is right. Brother Wang, don't run away. Live a good life with Hong Shi. Young Master Hao also wanted to see the world in chaos. He patted Wang Zicheng's shoulder and said with a smile. You, bastards. Wang Zicheng gritted his teeth and glanced at the two. He was about to go crazy. Brother Zicheng, you can't say that about these two little brothers because they are telling the truth. The gorgeous woman scolded Wang Zicheng. Yes. They are telling the truth, and it's all my fault. Wang Zicheng nodded repeatedly. He wanted to cry but had no tears. What was this? It was simply killing him. At this time, the black snake who had been watching coldly looked at the red snake impatiently and said, "Are you done?" The gorgeous woman said, "What's the hurry? They are already turtles in a jar. They can't escape." Can't escape? Humph. Don't forget that your opponent is Wang Zicheng. The black-robed old man secretly shouted. The gorgeous woman raised her eyebrows and glanced at Wang Zicheng. Then, she looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "I'm sorry. You are wrong. We are not here for Wang Zicheng." Qin Feiyang and the other two were stunned. What did she mean? Not for Wang Zicheng? Then for whom? Was she here for them? That was impossible. Although the death of the one-eyed man was related to them, it was mainly because of Wang Zicheng. Besides, Viper One was also with Wang Zicheng. You are really not here for me? Wang Zicheng himself was also dumbfounded. No. The gorgeous woman shook her head. That's good, that's good. Wang Zicheng immediately patted his chest. He was really shocked. Seeing the gorgeous woman dawdling, the black-robed old man finally lost his patience. He looked at Wang Zicheng and sneered, "Although we are not here for you, you will not be able to escape death today." Is that so? Wang Zicheng narrowed his eyes and stared at the black-robed old man. His eyes gradually turned cold. The black-robed old man smiled coldly and glanced at Qin Feiyang. He asked, "You are Ancestor Mu?" Young Master Hao was secretly shocked and sent a sound transmission. "How does he know your name?" Qin Feiyang guessed. It's very likely that the young man told Viper, and then Viper told them. Finished. He looked at the black-robed old man and nodded, "Yes, I am." It's good that you admit it. The black-robed old man's eyes suddenly flashed with a hint of ferocity. His emperor's might erupted and firmly imprisoned Qin Feiyang and the other three. Wait. Qin Feiyang's expression changed and he hurriedly shouted. The black-robed old man said, "Any last words?" Then say it quickly. Qin Feiyang glanced at the black-robed old man and the gorgeous woman and said in a deep voice, "I have never met Viper, let alone had a grudge with him. But why does he want to kill me? And why does he want to kill me? We don't know the reason either. Even if we know, we don't care. What we need to do is to complete the order given to us by Lord Viper." The gorgeous woman shrugged. Qin Feiyang furrowed his brows. What was going on? You are going to die anyway. Why are you still worrying about this? Besides, it is your honor to be killed by Lord Viper, do you understand? The black-robed old man smiled coldly, killing intent surging in his eyes. Then he waved his arm and a roaring battle chi rushed out, turning into a torrent that rushed toward Qin Feiyang and the other three. Honor? It's just a rotten venomous snake. You really think he is the ruler of the internal sea? How ridiculous. Go back and tell him that I will find him sooner or later. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and then shouted to Wang Zicheng, "Break his emperor's might. Let's go. Break for me." Wang Zicheng suddenly roared, and a terrifying aura rolled in all directions. The emperor's might that imprisoned the four immediately relaxed a little. Catch me. Chapter 1025. What? Where are they? In the sea, strong winds howled and huge waves covered the sky. The black-robed old man, the gorgeous woman, and the hundreds of burly men stood on the two giant ships in a daze. A moment ago, the four of them were still in front of them, but the next moment, they seemed to have disappeared without a trace. Had they seen a ghost? I don't believe that there are ghosts in this world. They must be hiding somewhere. Come out now. The black-robed old man suddenly shouted. His emperor's aura surged and roared in all directions. How could he not be angry when the duck in his mouth flew away just like that? Hurry up. Feeling the terrifying Emperor's aura, Wang Zicheng urged anxiously. Because once the Emperor's aura hit them, the invisibility technique would be broken. At the same time, his heart was filled with resentment and helplessness. He was one of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea, but he had to run for his life. How miserable. Qin Feiyang was also very anxious. However, he was only a 2-star battle saint. How could he compare with the black-robed old man? The Emperor's aura surged and shrouded the 4 of them. Crack. The invisibility technique immediately collapsed. There they are. On Viper number 2, a burly man immediately discovered the 4 of them. You're quite capable. The gorgeous woman also put away her previous contempt, and her entire body was filled with a murderous aura. She waved her arm and released her battle chi, which turned into a huge wave and spread across the sky. It rushed toward the 4 of them aggressively. Didn't I tell you before? Don't underestimate them. The black-robed old man glared at her and also activated his battle chi. With a shocking murderous aura, he charged toward the 4 of them. What should we do? Young Master Hao asked. This was not the Divine City, nor was it a game. This was a real battle. Similarly, this was the first time he was chased by a battle saint and the first time he was faced with such a desperate situation, so he did not know what to do. Wang Yuer was also at a loss. Although she was very powerful, she had not experienced any life and death situations like young Master Hao. However, Qin Feiyang and Wang Zicheng were very calm. Because this kind of situation was nothing out of the ordinary for them. Go to the bottom of the sea. The 2 of them shouted in unison. Only by going to the bottom of the sea could they have a chance of survival. Boom! Wang Zicheng's aura erupted as he forcefully broke through the black-robed old man's Emperor's aura. Together with Qin Feiyang and the other 2, he dove into the sea without looking back. The moment they left, the battle chis of the black-robed old man and the gorgeous woman whizzed past their original positions. That was close. Young Master Hao patted his chest, his face full of fear. If they had been just a little bit later, they would definitely have been smashed into pieces. Wang Zicheng shot a glance at young Master Hao and secretly asked, "Brother, how is your relationship with this person?" "Why do you ask?" Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Wang Zicheng said, "One look and you can tell that he used to be someone who lived like a prince. If our relationship isn't that good, I suggest we leave him behind so that he won't drag us down." "No. Because my mission this time is to protect him." Qin Feiyang thought. What? He actually made you protect him? Then it seems that his identity is not simple. Wang Zicheng was surprised. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Don't talk nonsense. Black Snake and Red Snake will definitely not let this go. We have to think of a way quickly. I really have no choice. Let's just surrender." Wang Zicheng transmitted his voice helplessly. "Can we survive if we surrender?" Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. "No." Wang Zicheng said. "Then what's the point?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at him, pondered for a moment, and transmitted his voice again. "How about this? You activate the forbidden technique and take us away. After that, I'll give you a 6-veined life prolongation pill." "What?" Wang Zicheng's expression froze. A 6-veined life prolongation pill? Did he hear it wrong? Qin Feiyang said, "I'm not lying to you, I really have a 6-veined life prolongation pill." The more veins there were, the higher the effect of the life prolongation pill. 6 veins could extend one's life for at least a few thousand years, so he thought that this could completely let Wang Zicheng put down his worries. However, Wang Zicheng didn't agree and transmitted his voice. "Brother, although we are in a desperate situation now, I really don't want to take the life prolongation pill until the last step." In fact, this was all an excuse. The most important thing was that he didn't trust Qin Feiyang. As Qin Feiyang said, the 2 of them were just strangers who met by chance. How could he bet his life on him? And this point naturally couldn't escape Qin Feiyang's sharp observation. He transmitted his voice angrily. Can't you trust me for once? You actually saw through it. You really can't be compared with the two of them. Okay. As long as you give me the life prolongation pill first, I'll activate the forbidden technique and take you away. Wang Zicheng said to himself. They naturally referred to Wang Yu, and young Master Hao. Qin Feiyang frowned. Now, he really couldn't take out a 6-veined life prolongation pill because he hadn't refined it yet. And to refine a 6-veined life prolongation pill, he had to go to the ancient castle. He couldn't take these 3 people to the ancient castle. Of course. He could also take out the nether devil flame and the pill furnace and refine it outside, but he didn't have the time to do so now. Because the black-robed old man and the gorgeous woman had already chased after them. Don't waste your energy. You can't escape. It's better for you to surrender obediently. Hundreds of people were filled with killing intent. Wherever they went, an undercurrent would surge. The black-robed old man and the gorgeous woman's speed was even more astonishing. As War Emperor, it was only a matter of time before they caught up with Qin Feiyang and the other 3. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Running like this wasn't a solution at all. He had to find an opportunity to fight back. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth and transmitted his voice to the 3 of them. Their primary target is me. I'll lure them away. You guys find an opportunity to slip away. That's a good idea. Wang Zicheng's eyes lit up as he nodded. No. Young Master Hao shook his head decisively. Facing 2 War Emperor and hundreds of War Saints, even if Qin Feiyang had heaven-defying abilities, there was no hope of survival. This was a dead end. Wang Yu did not say anything, but her eyebrows were tightly knitted, indicating that she did not agree with it in her heart. Qin Feiyang turned to look at young Master Hao and Wang Yu. His eyes were resolute as he said in a deep voice, now is not the time to be sentimental. Protecting our lives is the most important thing. Finished. Qin Feiyang then looked at Wang Zicheng and said secretly, Brother Wang, I'll have to trouble you to take care of them first. No problem. Wang Zicheng nodded. He did not object to Qin Feiyang's suggestion, not because he was a selfish person, but because he understood that this was the only way. Otherwise, everyone would have to die, so he might as well take a gamble. And with regards to Wang Zicheng's attitude, Qin Feiyang did not have the slightest complaint in his heart. Because it was wise. If it were him, he would also agree. Without any hesitation, Qin Feiyang took out the water avoidance pearl and resolutely turned around and rushed in the other direction. Young Master Hao immediately looked at Wang Zicheng and said angrily, Why did you agree? Aren't you sending him to his death? It's better for him to die alone than for all of us to die. Also, don't be so naive. The outside world is not as beautiful as you think. Killing is everywhere. If you continue like this, you'll lose your life sooner or later. Besides, since he dared to make such a suggestion, it means that he must have a certain degree of confidence. What you need to do is listen to him and not cause trouble for him. Wang Zicheng snorted coldly, took out a water avoidance pearl, and left with the 2 of them without looking back. Red Snake, what should we do? Seeing Qin Feiyang and Wang Zicheng go their separate ways, the black-robed old man was somewhat at a loss. Lord Viper said that Ancestor Mu must die, so we can only give up on Wang Zicheng and the others first. Let's go. The gorgeous woman waved her hand, and the group immediately turned around and chased after Qin Feiyang. They really caught up. Sensing the rapidly approaching Emperor pressure behind him, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a grim look. The gorgeous woman and the others had caught up, which meant that they were not joking before. Viper's target was him. Viper. That old poison seemed to be tired of living. He scanned the front, then suddenly turned in the air and rushed down to the bottom of the sea. Still running? You really won't cry until you're in the coffin. The black-robed old man mocked. Finally. Qin Feiyang entered the bottom of the sea and landed on a huge rock covered in mud. He looked up at the group and said indifferently, "You're all here? To tell the truth, I was afraid that you wouldn't come. Are you joking with us?" The black-robed old man swooped down and stood above Qin Feiyang, his face full of contempt. "Joking? I'm not in the mood. I'm just buying time for Wang Zicheng and the others. Now that they've escaped far away, my goal has been achieved." Qin Feiyang smiled. "You can still smile? You're really not afraid of death?" The black-robed old man grinned maliciously. "You're so sure that I'll die?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Huh, is he scared out of his wits?" "I think so. Otherwise, why would he say such childish words? Lord Black Snake, he's looking down on you. You have to torture him well. Don't let him die too quickly." The group of battle saints behind the black-robed old man and the gorgeous woman immediately roared with laughter, their faces full of ferocity. The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyang with a sneer. A mere 2-star battle saint dared to be so arrogant in front of Black Snake. Wasn't he courting death? Of course, I won't let him die too easily. The black-robed old man smiled malevolently. His emperor's aura was like a waterfall, enveloping Qin Feiyang. In his opinion, killing Qin Feiyang was just a matter of waving his hand. However, just as the emperor's aura was about to imprison Qin Feiyang suddenly disappeared without a trace. "It's useless. I could let you out before, and I can do the same now." The black-robed old man sneered. His emperor's aura rolled in all directions, but he did not see Qin Feiyang appear. "What's going on?" The black-robed old man was dumbfounded. The gorgeous woman and the others were also stunned. Chapter 1026. At the same time. Inside the castle. Hearing the black-robed old man's words, Wolf King sneered. "Those minions really think that you're a fish on the chopping board?" Lu Hong laughed. "They don't know Qin Feiyang's identity, otherwise, they wouldn't be so careless." Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. "No matter what, I still prefer to act alone." "Yes. If you're alone, you won't have so many concerns. But then again, young Master Hao and Wang Yu are two burdens. They didn't help us along the way, but they've been dragging us down. Especially that Wang Yu, she's always going against you. If it were someone else, they would have already left them behind and let them fend for themselves." The two-winged snow eagle said, its eyes full of disdain. Qin Feiyang smiled. "You can't say that, they're born to be useful, they just haven't shown their worth yet. You're still speaking for them, is there something wrong with your brain?" The two-winged snow eagle rolled its eyes. "Don't you know him? He's always been a good guy, otherwise, how could so many women like him?" Wolf King said with disdain. In the face of the two-winged snow eagle and Wolf King's ridicule, what else can Qin Feiyang say? He can only helplessly shake his head. Lu Hong looked at Wolf King and Qin Feiyang. "Actually, the alchemy fire is only secondary, the main thing is to improve your cultivation as soon as possible. After all, the time before the miracle opens is getting shorter and shorter." The pangolin thought for a moment and nodded. "That's true, if we're not strong enough, we can't compete with the Mujia." After hearing Lu Hong and the pangolin's words, Qin Feiyang's heart also became heavy. Carefully calculating, it's been more than 3 months since they entered Qinghai, that's to say, there's only 1 year and 9 months left before the miracle opens. And to compete with the Mujia, at least the cultivation of a war emperor. Breaking through to the combat the arch realm in 1 year and 9 months. Just thinking about it made him feel unconfident. However, according to his current cultivation speed, as long as he was willing to work hard, he might be able to do it. Wang. Suddenly, the image crystal began to vibrate. Qin Feiyang took it out, and Yan Wei's shadow quickly appeared. Looking at Yan Wei's smiling face, Qin Feiyang asked with a smile, "Did something good happen?" Yan Wei said, after this period of hard work, I have already gained Fu Anshan's trust. Qin Feiyang stared blankly for a moment before he smiled and said, this is indeed a good thing. Then, did you find out what kind of information Fu Anshan has on the Divine Python tribe's chief? No. These days, Fu Anshan hasn't contacted the chief of the Divine Python tribe. I didn't dare to ask too much, lest I arouse his suspicion. Yan Wei said. Qin Feiyang nodded his head, you can't take the initiative to ask. Yan Wei continued, however, although I didn't find out about this, I entrusted Fu Anshan to find out about the origins of the 5 colors fruit. What is it? Qin Feiyang asked immediately. Yan Wei said, that fruit is called the 5 colors glass fruit. It is a rare treasure that is hard to find in 1,000 years, but Fu Anshan did not find out what kind of effects it has. How could he not find out? Qin Feiyang frowned. I heard from Fu Anshan that there are no detailed records in the ancient book beside the pavilion master of the trading pavilion. It only has a rough idea. Yan Wei said. Lu Hong said in surprise, from the looks of it, this 5 colors glass fruit is still a little mysterious. I think so too. Yan Wei nodded, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I will think of a way to investigate again, and try to give you a satisfactory answer. Just do what you can, don't force yourself. Qin Feiyang smiled, then his eyes suddenly focused. He carefully looked at Yan Wei and said in surprise, did you break through? Yes. A few days ago, I broke through and became a 1-star combat emperor. Yan Wei rubbed his head, looking a little embarrassed. Not bad. Now, our small team will have a battle emperor to hold the fort. Lu Hong and the others were overjoyed. Qin Feiyang was also overjoyed. The difference between a combat emperor and a combat saint was a watershed. Although a combat saint was considered a top expert in the Forgotten Continent and the Great Qin Empire, in front of the Mu family and the imperial capital, they could not do anything. But a combat emperor was different. Each of the battle monarchs had an important position. Qin Feiyang smiled, continue to work hard. When I return from Qinghai, I hope you will have become a 2-star combat emperor. I will. Yan Wei nodded. If it was in the past, he would not have dared to say such words. In the past, he did not even dare to hope that he would be able to become a 1-star combat emperor in this lifetime. But now, he had opened the door of potential and was reborn. The combat emperor was no longer his goal, nor was it his destination. His current goal was the war god. And he would never forget who gave him all of this. Therefore, he was now completely loyal to Qin Feiyang. Suddenly, Yan Wei seemed to have thought of something, and said, oh right, there's one more thing I need to tell you. What is it? Qin Feiyang asked. Yan Wei said, Fatso is in trouble. What kind of trouble could he be in? Qin Feiyang frowned. Hasn't Fatso been chasing after Chu Xian? However, I don't know how Chu Xian's parents found out about this matter. Right now, they are threatening and tempting him to stop harassing Chu Xian. Yan Wei said. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood, his brows relaxed, and laughed. Are they looking down on Fatso? I've asked Fatso, but he didn't say anything. He even said that he could handle it himself and didn't need us to interfere. However, I guess that Chu Xian's parents don't look down on Fatso. After all, everyone knows about the relationship between Fatso and you, so they can't wait to curry favor with you. I reckon that it should be related to his size. Yan Wei guessed, his expression strange. Heard of it? Everyone laughed. Fatso's body was indeed a huge problem. However, this was innate, so there was nothing they could do about it. Regarding this matter, they were indeed unable to help. They could only rely on Fatso's sincerity to move Chu Xian's parents. Qin Feiyang looked at Yan Wei and asked, is there anything else? No. Yan Wei shook his head. All right then, stay by Fu Anshan's side and be careful. Qin Feiyang reminded. I know. After Yan Wei finished speaking, the virtual image quickly dissipated. Qin Feiyang also put away the image crystal. Outside, the gorgeous woman and others were still looking for Qin Feiyang, while the black-robed old man kept cursing, trying to provoke Qin Feiyang to go out. But obviously, he underestimated Qin Feiyang's temperament. What hadn't Qin Feiyang seen before? How could such a trivial matter make him angry? Buzz. After a while, Qin Feiyang's image crystal made a sound again. He was slightly stunned, looked at Lu Hong and others, and said, "It should be a message from Mr. Hao, you guys retreat to the side." Everyone quickly retreated to a corner. As expected, when Qin Feiyang took out the image crystal, Mr. Hao's virtual image immediately appeared. However, on his face, there was no joy of escaping, only anxiety and worry. Wolf King secretly said, "Although this guy is useless, he is really sincere to little Qin Zi." Lu Hong and others nodded, because everyone could see that Mr. Hao was worried about Qin Feiyang. Mr. Hao frowned and said, "Where are you now? Why do you seem to be in a cultivation room?" Qin Feiyang smiled calmly and said, "Just now I accidentally found a secret room at the bottom of the sea, and now I'm hiding in it." "What about you?" Mr. Hao breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, "That's good. We are also hiding in a cave on an island." Qin Feiyang looked behind Mr. Hao and asked suspiciously, "Where are Wang Zicheng and Wang Yu? Why don't I see them?" "They are outside learning about the island." "By the way, where are Viper's minions?" Mr. Hao asked. "They are still guarding outside," Qin Feiyang said. "Then I'll give you the coordinates. You can use the portal to teleport here." After saying that, Mr. Hao gave the coordinates to Qin Feiyang. "Have you forgotten? Wang Zicheng said that the portal can't be opened in the inland sea," Qin Feiyang said. "Besides, it was impossible to open the portal in this castle." "Yes, I'm so forgetful." Mr. Hao patted his head. "Well, I happen to have something to do now. You go to the birthplace of the elixir fire first. When I'm done, I'll rush to meet you," Qin Feiyang said. "Something else?" Mr. Hao was stunned and said helplessly, "You are really a busy man." "Well, I'll send you a message when we arrive at the birthplace of the elixir fire." "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded, then turned off the image crystal and lowered his head, lost in thought. Isn't it his first time in Qinghai? Why is he so busy? At the same time, in the cave, Mr. Hao also lowered his head and pondered. Thud. After a short while, Wang Yuer and Wang Zicheng entered the cave one after the other with the sound of footsteps. Wang Zicheng looked at Mr. Hao and asked, "How is it? Did you get in touch with him?" "Yes. He's out of danger. But he still has something to deal with. He asked us to go to the birthplace of the elixir fire first," Mr. Hao said honestly. This, Wang Zicheng was dumbfounded. Not to mention the group of battle saints, Black Snake alone was enough to make any 9-star battle saint feel despair. However, this guy, who was only a 2-star battle saint, managed to escape. Wasn't it too unbelievable? Wang Yuer was also shocked. It was not easy to escape from 2 battle emperors. How did this bastard do it? She looked at Mr. Hao and asked, "Did he say anything?" "No." Mr. Hao shook his head. "Bastard." Wang Yuer immediately scolded him angrily. After Wang Zicheng came to his senses, he glanced at Mr. Hao and Wang Yuer and mumbled, "It seems that Ancestor Mu doesn't trust these 2 people very much. Otherwise, he wouldn't hide everything from them. But here's the problem. Wang Yuer is his fiancé. How can there be someone in this world who doesn't trust his fiancé? What's the relationship between these 2 people?" The more Wang Zicheng thought about it, the more curious he became. Wang Yuer noticed Wang Zicheng's gaze. She immediately frowned and said, "What are you looking at?" "Nothing. I'm just thinking that it doesn't matter what happens to him as long as he's out of danger, right?" Wang Zicheng said. The two nodded. Wang Zicheng said, then let's go. We'll wait for him at the birthplace of the elixir fire. Whoosh. Immediately. Chapter 10:27. Inside the castle. Seeing Qin Feiyang pondering, Lu Hong asked. What are you thinking about? Qin Feiyang pondered and said, I'm thinking, should we ask Yan Wei to help us fight our way out? That's not necessary. If they want to wait, then let them wait. We won't lose anything anyway. What's more, we can't directly teleport here. If we ask Yan Wei to help, we still have to wait. By the time Yan Wei arrives, these people will have already lost their patience and left. After all, they don't know the situation inside the castle. Lu Hong said. That makes sense. Qin Feiyang nodded. Wolf King suddenly said. Actually, we can ask Mu Qin. Ask him? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. The Mu Jia has a spacetime gate. Maybe they can directly teleport here. It just so happens that Mu Qin can also bring some people over to slaughter that stinking snake. Wolf King said. The winged snow eagle coldly snorted. Asking the Mu Jia for help is too shameful. You don't understand. This has nothing to do with face. It's called using the resources around you. Wolf King despised. The pangolin nodded. I agree with Brother Wolf's suggestion. Let the Mu Jia and the snake fight first, then we can reap the benefits. You're too simple-minded. With the strength of the Mu Jia, what can that stinking snake do? I'm afraid it will be killed before it even starts. The winged snow eagle disdainfully said. Qin Feiyang glanced at everyone and smiled. What you said is reasonable, but what the eagle said is more realistic. Let's wait. Anyway, the alchemy fire hasn't been born yet. It doesn't matter if they wait a little longer. He can also take the opportunity to cultivate and try to break through to the 3-star battle saint. Time flew. The next morning, Qin Feiyang received a message from young Master Hao. The three of them have arrived at the birthplace of the alchemy fire. But there are no signs of the alchemy fire being born. After Qin Feiyang learned about the situation, he asked them to wait there and inform him when the alchemy fire is about to be born. As for Black Snake, Red Snake, and the others, their search was fruitless and they left on the same day. Qin Feiyang continued to cultivate. In a flash. 2 months passed. This morning. His calm aura suddenly, there was a violent fluctuation. Boom. Immediately. A terrifying holy aura rushed out of his body. Breakthrough again so fast. Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts opened their eyes and looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. If he remembered correctly, the last time Qin Feiyang made his breakthrough, he was together with Wang Zicheng and that robust young man. Only 3 months, only 3 months. To break through from a 2-star battle saint to a 3-star battle saint in just 3 months, wasn't this speed a little too outrageous? For example, Wolf King, who cultivated in seclusion in the castle all day, was only a 2-star battle saint. The double-winged snow eagle had already broken through to the battle saint realm when they were in the 9 districts. But now, he had just become a 3-star battle saint. After calculating, Qin Feiyang's speed was indeed twice as fast as theirs. Is the purple gold dragon blood really so powerful? Swoosh. After a while, Qin Feiyang opened his eyes. 2 rays of bright light burst out of his eyes. The aura he emitted was also restrained. However, not only was he not happy about this breakthrough, but he also frowned. He remembered that it only took him 2 months to break through from a 1-star battle saint to a 2-star battle saint. But now, it took him 3 months to break through from a 2-star battle saint to a 3-star battle saint. In other words, the higher the level, the longer the time needed in the future. It was hard to imagine how long it would take to break through from an 8-star battle saint to a 9-star battle saint. Of course. This situation was very normal. Because no matter if it was a warrior, a battle king, or a battle emperor, the higher the star level, the longer the time needed. But at this rate, the remaining 1 year would not be enough for him to step into the battle emperor realm. Sigh. Why is it that my time is always not enough? Qin Feiyang sighed. Little Qin Zi, let's discuss something. Suddenly, Wolf King came in front of Qin Feiyang and smiled flatteringly. What? Qin Feiyang restrained his emotions and looked at it suspiciously. Wolf King grinned and said, "Brother wants to change blood." Ah! Qin Feiyang was stunned. The double-winged snow eagle, Lu Hong and the others were also stunned. Obviously, the white-eyed wolf was jealous. But this kind of thing could not be forced. Qin Feiyang could obtain the purple gold dragon blood because of the Qin Emperor's affection. And they were not the descendants of the Qin Emperor, nor did they have the Qin Emperor's bloodline power. How could they obtain the purple gold dragon blood? Wasn't this wishful thinking? Rather than having unrealistic dreams, it's better to cultivate. Good luck, I will wait for you in front. Qin Feiyang patted Wolf King's head and smiled playfully. He got up, took out the water avoidance pearl, and left the castle. Damn! This is simply unreasonable. If you want to be handsome, brother is more handsome than him. If you want to be awesome, brother is also more awesome than him. Why can he get such a great fortune, but brother can't? Wolf King was indignant. Lu Hong and the others rolled their eyes. A wolf was so narcissistic, did it know shame? At the bottom of the sea. The sea water was bone-chilling. The traces of sea beasts could be seen everywhere. Qin Feiyang restrained his aura to the extreme, avoided the sea beasts, and swept towards the sea surface. Dozens of breaths passed. Splash. Finally, he swept out of the sea surface and stood above the sea. He glanced around, turned into a stream of light, and sped towards the southwest. But not long after, he was heavily surrounded. It was the sea beasts that surrounded him. In the past, with the Sage King's ship and the 2 9-star battle saints, Wang Yu, and Wang Zicheng, the sea beasts could not get close to him. Now that he was alone, he naturally could not be so relaxed. Fortunately, he had broken through to the 3-star battle saint. Fortunately, the beasts he encountered so far were not too strong, and he could barely kill his way through. But as time passed, he began to feel tired and his body was covered in wounds. But he did not ask for help. Because ever since he entered the Central Divine Kingdom, he had not fought seriously. It was not that he had become lazy, but that he did not dare to. Because he did not dare to use many methods, once he used them, his identity would be exposed. Boom! Splash! Roar! At this moment, Qin Feiyang had completely released himself. The purple gold dragon blood, the red sword qi, the flaming battle qi, and various perfect battle arts were frequently used. The more he fought, the braver he became, and the more he killed, the more energetic he became. The blood in his body seemed to be boiling, and he spilled blood all the way. Finally, he transformed into a fighting machine, crazily killing without exhaustion. Wherever he went, there were floating corpses everywhere, and the sea was dyed red. Roar! Suddenly, accompanied by a loud roar, a huge monster rushed out of the sea. Qin Feiyang's head was buzzing, and his eardrums were almost shattered. That sea beast was a king-snapping turtle. Its body was several tens of meters long, and it resembled a lofty mountain. It emitted a frightening oppressive power. Like an invisible tide, it pounced toward Qin Feiyang with earth-shattering momentum. Qin Feiyang could not see through its cultivation, but judging from its aura, it should not be lower than a 6-star battle saint. He could fight it. He used the phantom steps, and like a god of war, he stepped toward the king-snapping turtle step by step. Clang! The red sword qi surged and turned into a flaming sword shadow, and with a sharp edge that could destroy the world, it slashed toward the turtle. Clang! Accompanied by a loud sound, the sword's shadow slashed on the king's snapping turtle's shell, and sparks flew everywhere as if it had slashed on divine iron. Roar, the next moment. Accompanied by a painful howl, the king's snapping turtle's huge body was cut in half on the spot, and blood poured down like a waterfall. Qin Feiyang did not stop, and directly passed through the king's snapping turtle's body. Bathed in the rain of blood, his fighting spirit was soaring. Next. The sea beasts he encountered were all 6-star battle saints and above. Although he killed them one by one, his injuries were getting more and more serious. There were even a few times when his sea of qi and heart were almost injured. Chapter 1028. Just as Viper number 3 was fully recovered, Qin Feiyang flew to the black-robed old man's side. Without hesitation, he took out the Cheng Shui and stabbed the back of the black-robed old man's head from behind. The black-robed old man's head was directly penetrated, and his sea of consciousness and soul were instantly shattered. Ah! Accompanied by a shrill scream, the black-robed old man died on the spot. His angry eyes were filled with horror. Lord Black Snake. The group of burly men was dumbfounded. Qin Feiyang took out the Cheng Shui and quietly retreated again. Bang! The black-robed old man fell on the deck, and blood spurted out from between his eyebrows and the back of his head. Lord! After the group of burly men came to their senses, they immediately surrounded the black-robed old man, and their faces were filled with panic. Why did this happen? Ancestor Mu did not appear, so why did he suddenly die? This concealment art is really a killing weapon. Qin Feiyang stood in the air, looking down at the group of burly men, muttering to himself. Without the concealment art, even if he used all his trump cards, he would not be able to kill the black-robed old man. No. He could not even hurt a hair on the black-robed old man. He could not even get close to the black-robed old man. Although the concealment art was only a perfect battle technique, in his opinion, it was more practical than the divine dragon technique and the 6-word divine technique. Prepare to despair. Qin Feiyang whispered, turned into a stream of light and swooped down, landing behind the 2 burly men. Clang! The Cheng Shui suddenly attacked, and it was invincible. It instantly pierced through the heads of the 2 men. Where are you? Come out quickly, don't hide in the dark and attack us. Everyone on the ship went crazy. Not only could they not see him, they could not even detect his aura. There was no way they could fight back. This is too scary. A thin middle-aged man roared in horror and left Viper number 1, fleeing into the void in the distance without looking back. Everyone was already in a state of panic, but when they saw the middle-aged man running away, they all broke down. They all fled in a panic, not even caring about the sacred artifact, Viper number 3. However. The god of death descended once again. With a flash, the head of the skinny middle-aged man who was the first to escape was immediately separated from his body. Blood spurted out like a fountain. Looking at this scene, everyone's body and mind trembled. They were in extreme despair. Don't run. Come back. A slightly older man roared. That's right. We're like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. We'll only die faster if we flee like this. Another burly man anxiously roared. Everyone shuddered and returned to the deck of Viper number 3. Don't panic. Hurry up and send a message to Lord Hongxi. Before Lord Hongxi arrives, let's gather together and be careful. That's right. She was very clear about Black Snake's strength. Even a 1-star combat emperor of the same realm might not be able to hurt him. However, she was told that he was killed by a 2-star combat saint. The old man cried out, Lord Hongxi, please come and save us. We really have no other way. Are you still on that island? The gorgeous woman asked in a low voice. The old man nodded. The gorgeous woman asked, what about Viper number 3? Still here. The old man said. The gorgeous woman said, quickly sign the blood contract. Don't let Ancestor Mu snatch it away. The old man said, "Don't worry. With my defensive barrier, he can't snatch it away." "Okay, be careful. I'll bring people over immediately. It'll take at most half an hour." After the gorgeous woman finished speaking, the image quickly dissipated. "Ancestor Mu, don't run if you have the guts. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. When Lord Hongxi comes, you'll be dead." The people on Viper number 3 finally heaved a sigh of relief and began to provoke him. Hongxi, Qin Feiyang glanced at those people and his eyes flickered. Hongxi would need half an hour to get here. However, the concealment art could last for half an hour. Perhaps he could find an opportunity to get rid of Hongxi. Oh right. I forgot to tell Lord Hongxi that Ancestor Mu can hide in the void and kill people without leaving a trace. Just as Qin Feiyang had this thought, the people on the ship also thought of it. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but tremble. If Lord Hongxi was assassinated like Lord Black Snake, then they would be completely hopeless. Of course. They could also ask Viper for help. However, the problem was that Viper was a person with a proud personality. Other than the one-eyed dragon, the gorgeous woman, and the black-robed old man, he didn't bother to establish a contract with anyone else. Therefore, as long as these 3 people died, no one would be able to contact Viper. The old man quivered and shouted, "Quickly send another message to Lord Hongxi. Tell her to be careful." Hearing the old man's words, Qin Feiyang decisively turned and left because there was no need to continue squatting. Half an hour passed. The concealment art dissipated on its own. Qin Feiyang also found an island and stood on the peak of a mountain. His head was lowered and his expression was uncertain. Viper had completely angered him. If he didn't find Viper to settle this score, he would always be unhappy. Swish. Suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes as he took out the image crystal. Buzz. Soon, young Master Hao's shadow appeared. Wang Yu and Wang Zicheng were also beside him. Young Master Hao asked, "Are you done?" "Not yet." Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, then looked at Wang Zicheng and asked, "Where is Viper's lair?" The 3 of them were stunned. Young Master Hao said in shock, "You're not going to find Viper, are you?" Chapter 1029. Although Qin Feiyang's words were a huge blow to young Master Hao, it also made him recognize himself. It was a good thing. "You really want to go?" Wang Zicheng looked at Qin Feiyang and asked again. Qin Feiyang nodded. No one could change his mind once he made up his mind. Wang Zicheng was too lazy to persuade him. He asked, "Where are you now?" Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "I'm on a small island." "I don't know the name of the island." Wang Zicheng said, "Show me the full view of the island." Qin Feiyang nodded. He grabbed the image crystal and rose into the air. Standing in the air, he pointed the image crystal at the island below. In this way, the full view of the island was clearly displayed in front of Wang Zicheng. Wang Zicheng observed carefully for a moment and said, "I know. It's a nameless island. I've been there before. It's only about 200 li away from the nest of Viper." "Which direction?" Qin Feiyang asked. "West. You'll pass by 4 more islands on the way. The 5th island after that is the nest of Viper. It's called Viper Island. Viper Island has a very obvious characteristic. It's like a giant python wriggling on the surface of the sea. You have to be careful. Viper Island is not only the gathering place of poisonous insects and monsters in the inland sea, but also the air is filled with a kind of poisonous gas that can paralyze one's nerves." Wang Zicheng warned. "Thank you. After I'm done with this matter, I'll rush over to meet you guys." Qin Feiyang said and was about to put away the image crystal. "Wait. How are you going to deal with him? Are you going to use the invisibility technique? If you're going to use the invisibility technique, I advise you to give up. Viper's body is full of poison. With your current cultivation, you won't be able to get close to him. Wang Zicheng said. If the invisibility technique doesn't work, I have other methods. Anyway, this time, I'll make him disappear from the world forever. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. After turning off the image crystal, he looked toward the west. His eyes were filled with a murderous aura. Boom! Suddenly, a shocking killing intent roared out from his body. That murderous aura had already materialized. It was like wisps of blood-colored flames burning around him. At the same time, a bloody glow flickered between his eyebrows, and a bloody red, kill character quickly appeared. At this moment, it was as if he had transformed into a god of death. His terrifying killing intent caused even the nearby saint beasts to tremble in despair. That was right. This was the kill character formula. This was also the first time he had activated the kill formula. One could only imagine how much he hated Viper. Xinghai's 10 heroes, just wait and see. You'll soon know that you don't have the qualifications to dominate this sea. Qin Feiyang mumbled as he activated the phantom steps, stepping into the air step by step. Roar! Several 6-star battle saint sea beasts roared as they rushed out from the sea. Their bloody mouths were wide open, revealing their dense fangs. Boom! Qin Feiyang formed a seal with both hands, and the divine dragon seal appeared, instantly killing them. Thus, a shocking scene unfolded. The blood that flowed out from the sea beasts turned into waves of blood-colored waves, surging towards Qin Feiyang's eyebrows. In the end, all of it was absorbed by the kill character. As the kill character absorbed more and more blood, his aura gradually increased. Kill character formula: I want to see if you can increase one's cultivation by a whole realm. It was recorded in the Iron Book that the essence of the kill character was that it could increase the user's cultivation by a whole realm by continuously absorbing the blood of living creatures. Take a closer look. It was not a small realm, but a whole realm. In other words, Qin Feiyang, who was a battle saint, could forcefully step into the Battle Emperor realm by using the kill character formula. This was a godly formula that defied the natural order. However, whether this was the case or not had yet to be confirmed. Qin Feiyang's long hair danced in the wind. He was like a demon god as he killed his way through. All the sea beasts that blocked his way were buried in the sea. Their blood was completely absorbed, leaving behind dried corpses that floated on the sea surface. Boom! After absorbing the blood of the 50th sea beast, Qin Feiyang's aura suddenly soared to the level of a 4-star battle saint. However, this was just the beginning. Roar! Splash! Rumble! After advancing to the level of a 4-star battle saint, his methods became even more powerful. Those 5-star and 6-star sacred beasts were even more vulnerable. He went berserk with his killing spree. Boom! After absorbing the blood of the 100th sacred beast, his cultivation increased again, stepping into the level of a 5-star battle saint. He stepped on the corpses and blood as he advanced. His entire body was shrouded in a bloody mist. His eyes and black hair were gradually dyed red with blood. He looked like a grim reaper walking in hell. This is too terrifying. Is he a human or a devil? Those sea beasts that usually ran amok in the inner sea felt an indescribable sense of fear in their hearts at this moment. Some sea beasts that had just escaped immediately turned around and fled back into the sea when they saw this situation. Boom! After killing the 200th sea beast, Qin Feiyang's cultivation broke through again, stepping into the level of a battle saint. He felt an unprecedented power. His blood surged and he felt that he could pierce through the sky with a single punch. He is a devil, a malefic star. Run! This part of the sea was boiling. Countless sea beasts jumped up and down, fleeing in fear. A mere human dares to come to the inner sea and cause trouble. You are courting death. An angry roar sounded. A Neptune lion broke through the waves. Its huge body was like a mountain and its ferocious aura was monstrous. It had the cultivation of an 8-star battle saint. Without saying a word, it pounced toward Qin Feiyang. The fangs in its mouth were more than a meter long and were like sharp blades. They flickered with a cold light and were extremely terrifying. If you didn't block my way, would I have killed you? You are courting death. The fourth style of the Ruins of End technique, Ruins of End. Qin Feiyang's expression was extremely cold. He pointed his index finger in the air and an invisible force roared in the sky, killing it in an instant. Blood gushed toward his glabella like a waterfall. The bloody word, kill, between his glabella became even more eye-catching. The murderous aura all over his body became even more shocking. Boom! After absorbing the blood of the 400th Saint Beast, his cultivation had stepped into the level of a 7-star battle saint. At this moment, regardless of whether it was his long hair or his eyes, they had all turned blood red, as if he was bathed in blood. The murderous aura was overwhelming. Do I need so much blood? Qin Feiyang muttered. After absorbing the blood of 50 sea beasts, he had stepped into the level of a 4-star battle saint. After absorbing the blood of 100 sea beasts, he had stepped into the level of a 5-star battle saint. After absorbing the blood of 200 sea beasts, he had stepped into the level of a 6-star battle saint. After absorbing the blood of 400 sea beasts, he had stepped into the level of a 7-star battle saint. This was an exponential increase. And they were all saint beasts. Although the kill technique was heaven-defying, it was indeed too bloody. Furthermore, as he absorbed more and more blood, he gradually lost his mind. This was caused by his murderous aura. The murderous aura had already replaced his consciousness. In the end, he might even lose himself completely and become a demon king who only knew how to kill. Boom! It was unknown how much time had passed. Finally, Qin Feiyang's cultivation had stepped into the level of an 8-star battle saint. This also meant that he had killed a total of 800 sea beasts. Of course. The sea beasts that he killed were basically those that took the initiative to provoke him. At this point, he finally saw the first island that Wang Zicheng had mentioned. The island had a diameter of about half a mile and there was an extremely powerful aura on the island. A 9-star battle saint. Obviously, there was a 9-star battle saint beast lurking on the island. What? Is he a human? Why does he look like a demon? It was a lion-headed eagle. It was not big in size and was only slightly more than 3 meters long. It had the head of a lion and the body of a falcon. Its fur was bright and shiny like satin. It was the king of this area and ruled over countless sea beasts. However, at this moment, it stood on the peak of a mountain in the middle of the island and looked at Qin Feiyang from afar. Its huge eyes were filled with terror. Whoosh! When Qin Feiyang stepped into the sky above the island, the terrifying murderous aura enveloped the entire area. The lion-headed eagle trembled and quickly turned to flee. Qin Feiyang did not give chase. He glanced at the island coldly and continued to fly forward. Afterward, there were no more sea beasts that dared to block his way. Soon after, the second island that Wang Zicheng had mentioned also entered his line of sight. There was not a single aura of a beast on the island. Qin Feiyang could not help but frown. At this rate, he might not even be able to reach the level of a 9-star battle saint. However, after thinking about it, it did not matter. Although Viper had mastered the forbidden skill, he was only an 8-star battle saint. Although he did not have the forbidden skill, he had mastered 2 divine arts. Whoosh! Without further delay, he used the phantom steps and increased his speed to the maximum, heading straight for Viper Island. He passed by the 3rd island and the 4th island. Finally, Viper Island appeared in front of him. Viper Island covered an area of more than 10 miles. There were undulating mountains and lush greenery on the island. From afar, it really looked like a giant python lurking on the surface of the sea. At the same time, there was a mountain peak in the middle of Viper Island. It was more than 10,000 feet tall and the peak of the mountain was flat and neat. At the peak of the mountain, there was a black ancient castle. There was no one around, making it look mysterious and eerie. However, there was a young man sitting in the ancient castle that was tightly shut. He was about 1.8 meters tall and had a slender figure. He had regular facial features and could be considered a talent. However, his skin was eerily green. Especially his pair of green eyes. They were like a pair of snake eyes that were emitting a cold glow. That's right. This man was Viper, the old venomous creature that struck fear in people. What exactly is this? After studying it for so long, I still have no clue. At this moment, Viper was holding a jade bottle in his hand. There was a red liquid in the bottle. This was the temporary antidote given to him by the green-robed old man. Viper was quite confident in the art of poison refinement. Originally, he wanted to dissect the red liquid and research the real antidote from it. By then, he would no longer be threatened by the green-robed old man. However, after a period of analysis and dissection, he realized that he could not identify the composition of the red liquid. Since he could not identify the composition, he could not concoct the real antidote. This made him very angry. Chapter 1030. Maybe I'm not careful enough. I need to study it carefully. Viper muttered and poured out a drop of red liquid into his mouth. He closed his eyes and savored it carefully. Whether it was the poison or the antidote, they were all refined from various medicinal herbs. The only difference was whether they were poisonous or not. Therefore, as long as he could figure out which medicinal herbs were used to refine this red liquid, he would definitely be able to concoct the real antidote. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt a terrifying murderous aura coming from afar toward the island. Who's here? He opened his eyes, which were filled with shock. After living for hundreds of years, this was the first time he felt such a strong murderous aura. This murderous aura even terrified him and made him feel hopeless. Swoosh! He suddenly stood up, kept the jade bottle, and said coldly, "I'd like to see who has the guts to come to my territory and cause trouble." After saying that, Viper waved his hand and the gate of the ancient castle quickly opened. Whoosh! Then, he turned into a ray of light and flew out of the ancient castle. He stood at the peak of the mountain and looked ahead. Why does he look so familiar? When he saw Qin Feiyang flying toward him from the sky above the sea, a trace of doubt crept between his brows. It's him. Ancestor Mu. Suddenly, he remembered. Wasn't that the person who the green-robed old man wanted to kill? But that wasn't right. Hadn't the black snake and the red snake already dealt with him? Why would he come here? Could it be that the black snake and the red snake failed? Impossible. Both of them were battle emperors and this ancestor Mu was only a 2-star battle saint. When Viper thought of this, his pupils suddenly shrank. Because he saw Qin Feiyang's cultivation level clearly. 8-star battle saint. What was going on? Viper was dumbfounded. Previously, the green-robed old man had personally said that this person was only a 2-star battle saint. Moreover, previously, the black snake and the red snake failed to kill him on the Devil Island and reported to him that he was indeed only a 2-star battle saint. But how did he suddenly become an 8-star battle saint? Let's talk about Qin Feiyang. Before entering the island, he had already sensed Viper's aura. He raised his head and scanned the island. Very soon, when he saw Viper standing on the peak of the mountain, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Back then, when Wang Zicheng and Viper were communicating via voice transmission, he had seen Viper in person, so he recognized him at a glance. Rumble. Crack. As Qin Feiyang stepped onto Mamba Island, his horrifying holy power and murderous intent turned into huge waves that destroyed everything on the island. It could be described as unstoppable. Wherever he went, mountains would collapse, plants would fly, and the ground would sink. It was like a scene from the end of the world. At the sight of this, a sinister look crept into Viper's eyes as he hollered, "Kill him." Boom! His voice fell. The entire Mamba Island was filled with ferocious auras. Following closely, rays of light and shadows surrounded Qin Feiyang from all directions. Those shadows were formed by poisonous creatures. Poisonous scorpions, poisonous spiders, poisonous snakes, poisonous frogs. In short, all the poisonous creatures that Qin Feiyang had seen in his life were here. There were also many poisonous creatures that he had never seen before. There were hundreds and thousands of them, and the air was filled with poisonous gas. Moreover, every poisonous insect and every poisonous beast had the cultivation level of a battle sage. This is indeed a nest of poisonous creatures. Even Qin Feiyang could not help but feel his scalp go numb when he saw the densely packed poisonous creatures. Just like what Wang Zicheng had said, every corner of the island was filled with poisonous substances that could not be dissolved. Even the plants and trees were poisonous. It was not an exaggeration to say that. As long as any battle saint in the world entered this island, only death awaited them. However, he was not afraid. Clang! Red sword chi gushed out from his body like a torrent. 10 rays of sword shadows appeared in the blink of an eye, exuding an aura that could destroy the world. Die! As he shouted in a low voice, the sword shadows spread out and slashed in all directions. It was as though a real divine sword had been unsheathed. The ear-piercing sound of the sword resonated and tore the mountains and rivers apart. Chirp! 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 Hiss! In an instant, Mamba Island was drowned in all kinds of miserable cries. Hordes of poisonous creatures were smashed into pieces by the peerless aura of the sword shadows. In less than 5 breaths, almost all the poisonous creatures that came from all directions were killed. Their blood dyed the sky red. Qin Feiyang glanced at the blood that was left behind by the poisonous creatures and his eyes flickered. If the kill formula absorbed the blood, his cultivation level would definitely reach the level of a 9-star battle sage. However, he was hesitant. These were all highly poisonous creatures and their blood contained deadly toxins. Would it hurt him if he absorbed the blood? In the end, he gave up on this idea. He was about to fight with Mamba Island and he could not afford to make any mistakes now. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at Mamba Island, who was standing on the peak of the mountain. He said coldly, "Don't you think you can stop me with these poisonous creatures? Aren't you too naive?" Mamba Island's face darkened and he said coldly, "What happened to your cultivation level? I'll tell you when you kneel down at my feet." Qin Feiyang took a step forward and left a trail of afterimages as he dashed toward the peak of the mountain. Perfect auxiliary combat art. Mamba Island's pupils contracted. When the green-robed old man asked him to kill this person, he had already expected that this person was not simple. He did not expect it to be true. A perfect auxiliary combat art was not something that an ordinary person could possess. However, this was nothing in front of him, Mamba Island. I don't know why Black Snake and Red Snake failed. However, once you enter Mamba Island, don't even think about leaving this place alive. Mamba Island stepped on the void and said coldly as he walked toward Qin Feiyang. That was also a perfect auxiliary combat art. At the same time, his aura spread out bit by bit like the sign of a volcano eruption. Boom! When the holy aura of an 8-star battle sage was fully released, the entire island shook violently. Even the void was shaking and twisting. Qin Feiyang was also emitting an imposing aura that shook the heavens. It was as though the heavens and earth could no longer contain him. 2 young men with similar appearances. Although they did not look strong, at this moment, they were like 2 towering mountains. At this moment, time seemed to have slowed down. Both of them were moving at a fast speed. After all, both of them had used perfect auxiliary combat arts. However, the process seemed to take a long time. It seemed as though a few centuries had passed before both of them crossed the void and met each other. Both of them did not speak and the island fell into a dead silence. However, this dead silence did not last long. Kill, both of them seemed to have discussed this beforehand. They growled at the same time and charged toward each other at the same time. When both of their fists met, the heavens and earth were silent. Boom! However, at the next moment, a loud, deafening sound suddenly exploded. Both of them trembled and took a few steps back. Their faces were pale. That's right. This is the strength of an 8-star battle sage. The information can't be wrong. He must have used some shocking means. Could it be a forbidden technique as well? However, there is a gap of 6 small realms between a 2-star battle sage and an 8-star battle sage. What kind of forbidden technique can achieve this? Viper was shocked and his eyes were filled with disbelief. At the same time, Qin Feiyang lowered his head and looked at his fist. His eyebrows were tightly knitted together. He saw that there was a layer of green mist on his fist. It was like gangrene attached to his bones. Not only was it impossible to get rid of, but it also flowed along his arm and entered his body. This was the poison on Viper's body. He was a poisonous creature. As long as one came into contact with his body, the poison would immediately stick to his body. Indeed, he is not simple. However, it's not impossible. As long as I don't fight with him naked, Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at Viper as he muttered to himself. With a thought, a crimson sword aura soared into the sky and turned into a 1,000-foot sword shadow. It was as sharp as a giant mountain. Viper's pupils contracted again. He clapped his hands and said with a smile, "Not only do you have perfect auxiliary combat arts, but you also have perfect offensive combat arts. How dare you challenge me?" Challenge you? You think too highly of yourself. Look carefully. I'm not challenging you. I'm going to crush you. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with disdain. With a wave of his hand, the 1,000-foot sword shadow pierced through the sky and slashed toward Viper. Arrogant. Even Wang Zicheng and the others wouldn't dare to say such arrogant words in front of me. Who do you think you are? Venom Snake was enraged. A green stream of air gushed out of his body like a flood from an open dam. This was his battle chi. Just like him, his battle chi also contained a lethal poison. You're not the only one who has perfect combat arts. He roared furiously. His battle chi quickly condensed into a giant python in the air. Its size was more than 1,000 feet long. Its entire body was covered with green snake scales. Its eyes were as big as a dustpan and they shone with a bone-chilling light. Crush it. Viper angrily pointed at the sword shadow. Hiss. The giant python immediately bared its fangs and dragged its mountain-like body toward the sword shadow. Rumble. Crack. The two giant objects collided with each other. Like fireworks, the sky was filled with flames. At the same time, a destructive stream of air gushed out in all directions like a torrent of ferocious beasts. In less than 3 breaths' time, the entire Viper Island was torn apart and swallowed by the raging waves. You've destroyed my home. I'll kill you. Viper was completely enraged. Using his perfect auxiliary combat arts, he charged toward Qin Feiyang crazily. I'm not only going to destroy Viper Island. I'm going to destroy you too. Qin Feiyang sneered. He executed his phantom steps to the extreme. As he retreated, he maintained a certain distance from Viper and used the ultimate skill. Ultimate skill. Suddenly, he raised his arm and pointed at the sky. An invisible force covered the sky and caused huge waves to rise from the sea below. Another perfect slaughter combat art. Viper's heart trembled when he sensed the danger brought by the invisible force. How many tricks does this person have? You're scared already? Then kneel down and beg for mercy. Otherwise, I'll waste my time attacking you. Qin Feiyang said. Arrogant. Continue to be arrogant. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. Viper's face was ferocious. His battle chi surged to the sky. Accompanied by a dragon's roar, a green poisonous dragon appeared. The first style of the poisonous dragon incantation, Poisonous Dragon's Light. Chapter 1031. Qin Feiyang took a few steps back and said indifferently, "To be able to resolve that attack, not bad. You're not as weak as I thought you were." Although it was a compliment, Viper was displeased by his indifferent attitude and tone. That was because in his opinion, Qin Feiyang was mocking him. "Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me with such an attitude? Just you wait. Soon, you'll be kneeling on the ground and begging me to let you off." Second style of the Poison Dragon Manual, Poison Dragon Hellfire. As Viper finished his sentence, the poison dragon roared deafeningly. Following that, the poison dragon opened its mouth and spat out a green flame that swept through the sky and pounced towards Qin Feiyang. The flame was not a real flame. It was condensed from Viper's poison gas. The terrifying poison spread in all directions and even Qin Feiyang could not help but feel dizzy. He hurriedly consumed an antidote pill. However, because he was fast, Viper did not see how many elixir patterns it had. If an antidote pill can resolve my poison gas, how can I dominate this sea region? Viper sneered and his eyes were filled with mockery. Qin Feiyang remained silent. It was undeniable that Viper's attainments in poison refinement were indeed terrifying. The antidote pill he consumed earlier on had 5 elixir patterns. As for the antidote pill with 5 elixir patterns, it could even remove the black malice poison refined by the ugly old woman. But now, it could only alleviate the effects and could not completely remove it. As such, it could be seen. Viper's poison gas was enough to kill people of the same realm. It seemed like he had to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, if the poison gas in his body accumulated, he would be in a passive situation instead. Clang! In an instant, the scarlet sword chi in his chi sea poured out and dozens of flaming sword shadows were formed. Each of them exuded a sharp aura that could destroy the world. There's such a method? Viper was shocked. Slash! Qin Feiyang roared and his voice was like thunder. It shook the sea region for miles and set off huge waves. Clang! Immediately, the dozens of sword silhouettes moved out in full force, carrying thousands of sword chi as they charged towards Viper. The poison dragon underworld fire was unable to put up any resistance and instantly turned into nothingness. It could be said to be unstoppable. Puff! Venom Snake spat out a mouthful of blood. However, he did not panic at all. Instead, his expression became even more ferocious. "You think you can defeat me? Dream on." Third style, Poison Dragon Possession. Viper waved his hand and the poisonous dragon swooped down. It turned into a waterfall and entered the space between his eyebrows. Boom! Immediately, a terrifying aura rushed out from the snake's body. Moreover, his aura was rising crazily. In the blink of an eye, his cultivation level had actually reached the level of a 9-star battle saint. Do you see that? This is the true profundity of the poison dragon art. It can raise my cultivation by a minor realm. Now that I am a 9-star battle saint and you are still an 8-star battle saint, what do you have to fight me? The Viper roared, and with a wave of its hand, a giant python appeared. The giant python's body was like a mountain ridge, releasing a monstrous ferocious might. It revealed its dense venomous fangs and actually shattered the dozens of sword shadows with irresistible force. Puff! The sword shadows were continuously shattered, causing Qin Feiyang to suffer heavy injuries. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The true profundity of the poison dragon art? He looked at the Viper with eyes full of mockery. In terms of power, the poison dragon art was indeed a pinnacle perfect battle art. However, in front of the kill art, it was not worth mentioning. This was because the poison dragon art could only raise the cultivation level by a minor realm. However, the kill art could raise the cultivation level by a major realm. What kind of difference was this? A frog at the bottom of a well, how pitiful. Qin Feiyang shook his head and placed his hands in front of his chest to form a seal. A vast and mighty dragon power surged out like a volcanic eruption. Hum. Boom. In the next moment, a square seal appeared. It was the size of a palm and emitted a dazzling purple-gold divine light. At the bottom of the square seal, there was a lifelike purple-gold divine dragon. That's right. It was the first style of the divine dragon art, the divine dragon seal. When the divine art appeared, its godly might intimidated the surroundings. Viper's heart suddenly surged with an uncontrollable fear. Kneel down. Qin Feiyang roared and his aura surged. Hum. The divine dragon seal streaked across the sky and the roar of the dragon shook the heavens. The giant python let out a hiss and instantly collapsed. Then, the divine dragon seal carried a shocking might and suppressed the venom snake. Plop. The mighty godly might shrouded the world. Viper could not help but tremble and kneel down in the void. This kneel was like a bolt from the blue, causing his mind to rumble. I am one of the 10 heroes of Qinghai. I am an invincible king of the same realm. How can I kneel to others? Bastard, I want to destroy you and make you never reincarnate. Viper suddenly stood up and a destructive aura surged out of his body. Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. It seemed that Viper was desperate and wanted to use a forbidden technique. Poison domain. As expected, the venomous snake let out a hysterical roar. Green poisonous mist burst out from its body and surged in all directions like a tide. In an instant, Qin Feiyang was drowned by the poisonous fog. Immediately, he sensed that wisps of terrifying poisonous gas were madly drilling into his pores. His face, lips, and skin quickly turned black. This was the sign of being poisoned. Qin Feiyang was shocked. The poison now was several times more terrifying than before. He quickly used his battle chi to seal his pores. However, he was shocked to find that it was meaningless. Not only was it meaningless, the poisonous gas also had a terrifying corrosive power, crazily eroding his battle chi, including the power of his bloodline. Qin Feiyang was shocked and broke out in cold sweat. He could feel that facing this poisonous fog, even a 9-star battle saint would not be able to escape death. Even a 1-star battle emperor would not be able to escape safely. Haha. Crazy, continue. Viper was like a demon god, standing proudly in front of Qin Feiyang and laughing wildly. The poison domain was his forbidden technique. The domain covered an area of 10 miles. Any living creature that entered this domain, unless they had overwhelming strength, would not be able to escape. Once the poisonous fog entered the body of a living creature, it would immediately pounce on all the vital points. For example, the chi, the heart, and even the soul. These places were undoubtedly the most fatal places. Once entangled by the poisonous gas, even if a god descended to the mortal world, he would not be able to save him. Qin Feiyang glanced at the poisonous fog, looked at Viper and sneered, "Then as you wish, continue to be crazy." Boom! His body shook, and the purple-gold battle chi broke out of his body, transforming into a huge purple-gold dragon. Roar! The purple-gold dragon turned in the air and let out a loud dragon roar at Viper. Immediately, a sound wave was born, like an invisible wave, sweeping across the sky, and all the poisonous fog was instantly annihilated. Viper turned pale with fright. Even a forbidden technique could be forcefully broken. What level of battle art was this? Ah! Just as he was in a daze, the sound wave roared and arrived. With a blood-curdling scream, his body was instantly drenched in blood. This roar of the purple-gold dragon was not just a simple roar. It was the second move of the Divine Dragon method, the Divine Dragon's Roar. There was no suspense. Viper was heavily injured by this attack. His entire body was a mess of flesh and blood as he powerlessly fell to the ground. The 10 heroes of the Azure Sea are only so-so. Qin Feiyang laughed in disdain, he took a step forward and pierced through Viper's chi with a finger, crippling his cultivation. Then, his hands quickly formed a seal, and an enslavement seal quickly appeared, fusing into the top of Viper's head. Ah! Viper hugged his head and screamed for a while. Suddenly, he realized that there seemed to be something extra in his head. He stared at Qin Feiyang in shock and anger, and roared, "What did you do to me?" Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and a battle chi appeared, holding Viper in the air, and said indifferently, "This is an enslavement seal, it can control your soul, and now, with just a thought, your soul will scatter." Impossible. How could there be such a thing in this world? Viper shook his head, his face incomparably ferocious. Qin Feiyang was too lazy to answer. He directly used his actions to prove it. Viper immediately screamed miserably. He felt as if his head was about to split open, and his face was distorted. At this moment, he could clearly feel the aura of death. "Don't kill me. Stop it." He hurriedly cried out in fear. Qin Feiyang stopped operating the enslavement seal, and said indifferently, "Now tell me, do I have the qualifications to be arrogant?" "Yes, yes, yes." Viper nodded repeatedly. Originally, he thought that he could easily get rid of this person. Who would have thought that he would be so ridiculously strong? Qin Feiyang swallowed another detoxification pill to relieve the poison in his body, and said, "Then do you need me to remind you what to do now?" "No need." Viper hurriedly waved his hand, and then knelt in the air, begging for mercy and kowtowing. "I thought that the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea were some amazing people. It turns out that they are also so spineless." Qin Feiyang crossed his arms in front of his chest and mocked. "Spineless?" Viper sneered. What was the use of spineless? Only when one was alive would there be hope, a future, and a chance. Qin Feiyang shook his head. As the saying went, in the face of death, self-esteem and face were worthless. He said indifferently, "Tell me, why do you want to kill me?" "This." Viper hesitated. The strength of the old man in green was even more terrifying than the person in front of him. If the news was leaked, he was afraid that he would not be able to escape death. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with killing intent, and he shouted, "Tell me." Viper's eyes trembled, and he hurriedly said, "It's an old man who wants to kill you, but I don't know him." "If you don't know him, why do you want to help him?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "He forced me to take a kind of poison. If I don't do as he says, he won't give me the antidote." There was a trace of resentment in his tone. If the old man in green had not forced him, he would not have ended up in this state. "No way." Qin Feiyang was surprised. Wasn't Viper an expert in refining poisons? Was there a poison that he could not cure? "In the past, I thought that I was the best in refining poisons because I could even cure the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. However, it was only when I met that old bastard that I realized that I had been deceiving myself and others the entire time. I had been viewing the sky from the bottom of a well." Viper sighed, looking rather lonely. "What? Even the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion can be cured?" Qin Feiyang was in disbelief. He had personally experienced the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. Other than the poison of the blood soul spider, there was almost no antidote. However, Viper told him that he could cure the poison of the bloodthirsty scorpion. How could he not be shocked? After coming back to his senses, Qin Feiyang asked, "Is it the poison of the blood soul spider?" "No. It's the universal antidote that I concocted myself." Viper shook his head. "Universal antidote?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and hurriedly said, "Let me see." Viper took out a jade bottle that was half filled with a milky white liquid that had a hazy luster. One could vaguely feel a sacred aura. Qin Feiyang took the jade bottle, opened the cork, and sniffed it. There was a pleasant fragrance that could make one feel refreshed. Viper said, "This is called sacred water. It can cure hundreds of poisons." "Cure hundreds of poisons?" Qin Feiyang was surprised and said, "You're not lying to me?" How would I dare to lie to you now? Viper smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang did not dare to let his guard down. He secretly peeked at Viper's inner thoughts. After confirming that there was no evil intention, he poured a drop of sacred water and put it into his mouth. Immediately, he felt that the sacred water turned into a majestic energy that surged to his limbs and bones. Wherever it passed, the poison that had seeped into his body was swept away. Not bad. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. With this thing, he would not have to worry about being poisoned in the future. Looking at Qin Feiyang's expression, Viper's heart skipped a beat. He said fawningly, "If you like it, I'll give it to you." "Give it to me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly and he joked, "Even if I snatch it now, can you stop me?" Viper's expression froze. Yes. Now that he had become a prisoner, there was no need to talk about what he had. As long as the other party asked, he had no right to refuse. Qin Feiyang glanced at Viper, lowered his head and fell into deep thought. As for Viper, he had come with the intention of killing him. But now, he was a little hesitant. Because this person was still valuable. If he kept him by his side, he might be able to help him in the future. He might even become his right-hand man. At the same time, seeing that Qin Feiyang was silent, Viper could not help but feel nervous. After some time, Qin Feiyang looked up at Viper and asked, "What does the old man who ordered you look like?" Viper hurriedly used his battle chi to create the image of the old man in cyan. Qin Feiyang sized up the old man in cyan and asked Viper, "Have you seen him in Qinghai before?" "Never. It should be his first time in Qinghai." Viper shook his head and deduced. First time in Qinghai, Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Suddenly, a light flashed in his eyes and he took out the image crystal. Buzz. After a while, a young man appeared. It was Wu Yang. Qin Feiyang pointed at the image of the old man in cyan and asked, "Do you know him?" Wu Yang glanced at the old man in cyan and his eyes trembled slightly. He said in surprise, "Why are you asking about him? You know him?" Qin Feiyang narrowed his eyes and asked. Wu Yang said in a deep voice, "Of course I know him. He is the former steward of the Divine Python tribe. His name is Pei Qin, commonly known as Elder Qin. He is the confidant of the leader of the Divine Python tribe. His methods are very terrifying." Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. How could he be from the Divine Python tribe? Although he knew that Pei Zhangfeng was killed by the leader of the Divine Python tribe, the leader of the Divine Python tribe did not know that. Therefore, there was no such thing as killing people to silence them. But other than that, what else could it be? There must be a reason why a person wanted to kill another person. Or was it purely Pei Qin's idea and had nothing to do with the leader of the Divine Python tribe? But he did not remember when he had offended Pei Qin. What was going on? Chapter 1032. Is there anything else? Wu Yang asked. No. Qin Feiyang shook his head, but he suddenly thought of something and asked, "Has your chief received the news of Guo Xiangzhong's death?" What? Housekeeper Guo is dead? Wu Yang was surprised. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Where did he die? How did he die? Wu Yang asked. Although Qin Feiyang had asked him about Guo Xiangzhong's situation before, he did not tell him the reason. Therefore, there were many things that he did not know. Qinghai. As for how he died, he must have been killed. Qin Feiyang smiled. Qinghai, Wu Yang's heart trembled. Wasn't Ancestor Mu in Qinghai now? In an instant, he thought of a general idea and said, "I didn't hear about Guo Xiangzhong's death. I guess the chief hasn't received the news either. It's good that he didn't receive the news. Also, I don't want any more twists and turns, so you must keep this matter a secret." Qin Feiyang said. If the chief of the Qilan tribe knew about Guo Xiangzhong's death, he might send someone else. Moreover, he might send someone stronger than Guoxiangzhong. It would be troublesome then. I will. Wu Yang nodded and turned off the image crystal. Qin Feiyang also put away the image crystal and lowered his head to look at Viper, who was kneeling in front of him. Viper's body trembled and a trace of flattery appeared on his face. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, I can spare your life, but in the future, you must obey my orders. Viper's expression stiffened and he frowned. You want me to submit? Yes. Qin Feiyang said. Viper's eyes flashed with anger and said, I can submit to you, but what about the poison in my body? If I don't kill you, Pei Qin will definitely not give me the antidote. Qin Feiyang said, as long as you agree, I will find a way to get you the antidote. You? Pei Qin is a 5-star combat emperor, or even stronger. How can you help me? Viper said disdainfully. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, there will always be a way. Besides, do you have a choice right now? Alas. Viper let out a long sigh. That's right, he had no choice. If he wanted to live, he could only submit. Don't look so reluctant. Many people cry and beg to follow me, but I don't like them. Qin Feiyang sneered. Who would believe such nonsense? Viper secretly despised Su Tao, but he did not dare to show it. Nodding his head, he replied, all right, I'll follow you, but you must help me get the antidote. Once he got his hands on the antidote, wouldn't he be able to do whatever he wanted? Follow? Humph, naive. He, Viper, was one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes. How could he follow a nobody? Qin Feiyang said, do you really think I'm a nobody? Viper was shocked. How did this person know what he was thinking? The slavery seal has another function, and that is to peek into your heart. No matter what you are thinking, I will know. Qin Feiyang said. This. Viper was dumbfounded. In that case, there would be no more secrets. Let me tell you, in terms of identity, the Blue Sea's 10 heroes are nothing in my eyes. Qin Feiyang sneered. Then I shall wait and see. Let's see what kind of identity you have. Viper snorted. Then you will wait and see. Qin Feiyang did not talk nonsense and asked, do you have Pei Qin's continuous method? No. Viper shook his head. Qin Feiyang asked again, then how long will the antidote he gave you last? About half a year. Viper said. Half a year. Qin Feiyang pondered and suddenly said, if I use the antidote with 6 veins, can it clear the poison in your body? 6 veins? Are you kidding? Who in the world can refine a pill with 6 veins? Besides, even if someone can refine it, it may not be useful. Viper said. It may not be useful, which means it may be feasible. Let's try it first. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and took Viper into the castle. Where is this place? Viper immediately looked at this unfamiliar place in bewilderment. Beat him. At the same time, Wolf King roared and quickly rushed to Viper with the double-winged snow eagle and the other beasts, punching and kicking him. Ah! Bastard, who are you? Get out of my way. Viper was stunned. After a scream, he roared again and again. Wolf King and the other beasts ignored him and crazily beat him up. After a while, Viper turned into a pig's head. The wounds on his body that were about to scab burst open again and were dripping with blood. The double-winged snow eagle snorted. If little Qin Zi didn't like you, I would have swallowed you. Yes, how dare you go against us? You are really reckless. Wolf King stood in front of Viper like a human, his eyes full of coldness. Who the fuck are you guys? Why are you attacking me for no reason? Are you crazy? Viper roared angrily. Who are we? Wolf King and the other beasts looked at each other and laughed evilly. Don't fight, let's talk. Viper saw that the situation was not good. He quickly waved his hand and his swollen face was full of flattery. Coward. Wolf King glanced at him disdainfully and looked at Qin Feiyang with dissatisfaction. Little Qin Zi, isn't it enough that you have so many brothers to accompany you? Why do you have to take in this coward? What do you mean? The double-winged snow eagle also said, are you starting to alienate us because we are weak and can't help you? Qin Feiyang's face darkened. How could these guys have such a rich imagination? When did he have such thoughts? He was really wronged. He couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with these guys. He turned and walked to the furnace. With a thought, the nether devil flame swooped down and floated below the furnace. You're an alchemist? Looking at this scene, Viper did not care about the pain in his body. He crawled up and asked in surprise. Are you surprised? The surprise is yet to come. A frog at the bottom of a well wants to dominate a region. How ridiculous. Wolf King and the other beasts ridiculed him mercilessly. Viper was angry, but he tactfully shut his mouth when he saw the fierce eyes of the other beasts. Qin Feiyang ignored him and took out a set of herbs for the detoxification pill. He revived the nether devil flame and started to refine the pill. This is... Viper was shocked and the nether devil flame was revived. Very quickly. A detoxification pill with 6 elixir veins was refined. Try it. Qin Feiyang grabbed the detoxification pill and threw it to Viper. Viper caught it in a panic. He lowered his head and looked at it. It was as if he was struck by lightning and his mind rumbled. 6 elixir veins. How was that possible? This person could refine a pill with 6 elixir veins. Was he dreaming? He rubbed his eyes and looked at it again. The 6 elixir veins on the detoxification pill were like the halo of an angel, emitting a dazzling light that was enchanting. Viper gulped and raised his head to look at Qin Feiyang. If I'm not wrong, that elixir fire is also a grade 7 elixir fire. Who are you? Qin Feiyang said indifferently, didn't Barbarian Bull tell you? I'm the personal disciple of the Chief Pagoda Master. No. I'm asking about your true identity. Viper said. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat and he asked curiously, how did you know that I have another identity? Intuition. Viper said. Qin Feiyang said, intuition is too vague. Don't take it too seriously. Viper looked at him deeply and did not continue asking. He consumed the detoxification pill in his hand and closed his eyes to check the situation in his body. A moment later. He opened his eyes, shook his head and sighed, it's just as I expected. His face was also full of disappointment. This, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King looked at each other. Even the detoxification pill with 6 elixir veins did not have any effect. What kind of poison did Pei Qin give Viper? Viper said again, it's not that it has no effect. At least it has a relieving effect. If there are more elixir veins, maybe it can be done. What about the 7 elixir veins? Qin Feiyang asked. Viper was slightly stunned and asked excitedly, can you refine it? Not for the time being. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Viper instantly became dispirited and sighed, it seems that I can only think of a way to get the antidote from Pei Qin. Qin Feiyang said, Pei Qin wants me. Unless you give me to him, he won't give you the antidote. Viper could not help but feel desperate. How could he, who had been reduced to a prisoner, hand this person over to Pei Qin? Unless this person was willing. But this kind of thing, no one was willing to do. Suddenly. His eyes lit up and he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, why don't you fake your death? When I get the antidote, we can escape. Fake my death? Qin Feiyang was stunned and nodded, this is a good idea, but I'm worried, speaking of this. Qin Feiyang fell silent and was a little uneasy. Viper asked, what are you worried about? I'm worried that Pei Qin will not only not give you the antidote, but also kill you to silence you. After all, I am the disciple of the Chief Pagoda Master. He will definitely worry that you will leak it out. Because once exposed, his divine python tribe will face the wrath of the chief pagoda master. This is not something they can bear. Qin Feiyang said. Viper's eyelids twitched. Not to mention, this was really possible. The best way is to research the antidote yourself, or find a way to get me a cluster of 7th grade elixir fire. Qin Feiyang said. Why do I need a 7th grade elixir fire? Viper was suspicious. Qin Feiyang said, to refine a 7th grade elixir pattern antidote. Now he had a 7th grade elixir fire. As long as he got another 7th grade elixir fire, plus the 7th grade elixir fire that was about to be born, the Nether Devil Flame could be upgraded to the 8th grade. And the 8th grade Nether Devil Flame could allow him to refine a 7th grade elixir pattern antidote. Maybe he could remove the poison in Viper's body. The double-winged snow eagle raised its eyebrows and looked at Qin Feiyang helplessly, saying, Aren't you finding a problem for yourself? Why bother? Just kill him and end it all. Don't. I have already chosen to surrender, which means that we are family now. You can't do anything treacherous. Hearing the double-winged snow eagle's words, Viper's face changed and he quickly said. Who's family with you? Don't flatter yourself. The double-winged snow eagle rolled its eyes. Wolf King and the other beasts also looked indifferent. Chapter 1033. Qin Feiyang glanced at Wolf King and the other 2 beasts and smiled. They're just joking. Don't take it seriously. So they're just joking. Viper sighed in relief. Wolf King frowned. Little Qin Z, we're not joking this time. The double-winged snow eagle nodded. That's right. I feel uncomfortable staying with an old poison all day long. Viper hurriedly said, Don't worry. Although I'm full of poison, I can control and release it freely. It won't hurt you. Really? Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle didn't believe him. Viper nodded. With a thought, the green color on his skin quickly faded. Soon, it became the color of an ordinary person's skin. And his eyes turned from green to black. Don't say it. Viper, who had returned to normal, looked different in an instant. He had exquisite facial features, deep eyes, a slender figure, and thick eyebrows. He was the epitome of a handsome man. You can really do it? Wolf King was surprised and asked suspiciously, If you can look like a normal person, why do you always look like that? Viper said, If you want to survive in the inland sea, you have to be careful at all times. And poison is my natural defense. That's how it is. Wolf King suddenly understood. Indeed. As long as Viper activated the poison in his body, no one dared to approach him. Can you accept it now? Viper looked at Wolf King and the other 2 beasts and asked pitifully. The 2 beasts looked at each other and finally nodded in agreement. But there was an additional condition. They must obey their orders in the future. In order to survive, Viper had to compromise. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Viper. Let's get down to business. Besides the alchemy fire that's about to be born, are there any other 7th grade alchemy fires in the inland sea? Viper thought and shook his head. I haven't heard of any. That's not good. The medicine that Pei Qin gave you can only last for half a year. I'm afraid it's difficult to gather 3 7th grade alchemy fires in half a year. Qin Feiyang rubbed his forehead. Could it be that only Pei Qin could remove the poison in the snake's body? Wolf King said, Why don't we just go straight to the divine python tribe and force them to hand over the antidote? It's feasible. The 2-winged snow eagle nodded. I think it's feasible too. Although we don't know whether it was Pei Qin's idea to murder you or the order of the chief of the divine python tribe, we can be sure that they don't dare to make a big deal out of it. If they don't want to make a big deal out of it, they have to do as we say. In other words, we can use this matter to blackmail them. Lu Hong said, and her face was covered in a wisp of frost that couldn't be melted. Not bad. You already know how to use your brain to think of problems. Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Hong and Wolf King in surprise. His eyes were filled with gratification. Yes. Now, they could completely grasp this point and turn from passivity to initiative. Right. I remember now. There is a grade 7 pill fire in the inner sea. At this moment, Viper suddenly said. Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned, and his breathing suddenly became rapid. He asked, "Where is it?" Dan Wangkai. Viper said. Dan Wangkai? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Wolf King, the other beasts, and Lu Hong were also puzzled. Viper said, "I don't know if you have heard from Wang Zicheng that there is an alchemist among the 10 heroes of Qinghai?" Yes. I heard from Wang Zicheng that this person can refine 5 pill veins. I have a deep impression of him. Qin Feiyang nodded. Dan Wangkai is him. This person is more arrogant than me. He claims that no one can surpass him in alchemy, so he calls himself the Elixir King. And the pill fire he is using now seems to be a grade 7 pill fire. Viper said. Dan Wangkai, Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered, and he asked, "Can you contact him?" Yes. Viper nodded. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he took out a spiritual sea pill and a healing pill, threw them to Viper, and said, "Take them. After you recover, ask him to come here immediately." Okay. Viper looked at Qin Feiyang meaningfully, took the spiritual sea pill and the healing pill, sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes, and began to heal. Qin Feiyang also took 2 steps back and leaned his back against the altar. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and lowered his head in silence. No one knew what he was thinking about. Wolf King glanced at Viper, and then sneakily approached Qin Feiyang and whispered, "Are you thinking about whether to take the 10 heroes of Qinghai as your subordinates?" Qin Feiyang turned to look at Wolf King, and his eyes seemed to ask, "How do you know?" Wolf King said with a sneaky smile, "It seems that I guessed right. You know me the best." Qin Feiyang shook his head with a smile and asked secretly, "What do you think?" Wolf King pondered for a while and said, "In fact, it's not a bad idea. The 10 heroes of Qinghai are all geniuses. If we can take them as our subordinates, they will be of great use in the future, especially Dan Wangkai." "Why do you say that?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Because he knows alchemy. And his talent in alchemy is not bad. As long as we can subdue him, you don't have to make battle chi pills for us anymore, and you will have more time to cultivate. The most important thing is that I will have a few more awesome followers in the future. How cool will it be when I go out?" Wolf King chuckled. "That's why you asked me to subdue them, right?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and said, "But Viper just said that this person is arrogant. I'm afraid it won't be easy to subdue him." "That's easy. Doesn't this person claim to be the best alchemist in the world? As long as you show him a few tricks and let him know how powerful you are, I guarantee that he will be obedient." Wolf King said disdainfully. "That makes sense." Qin Feiyang nodded. For an alchemist, alchemy fire and alchemy furnace were indispensable, but the most important thing was the recipe. If Dan Wangkai were to see pills like the potential pill, there might not even be a need to threaten him, he would voluntarily lower his head and submit. Just as Qin Feiyang was thinking, his body suddenly shook violently. At the same time, the word "kill" between his eyebrows suddenly released a murderous intent that was countless times more terrifying than before. In an instant, the people and beasts in the ancient castle seemed to have fallen into a sea of murderous intent, and their bodies and minds trembled. Everyone hurriedly looked at Qin Feiyang, and their faces were suddenly filled with horror. At this moment, Qin Feiyang's long hair was as red as blood, and his scarlet eyes were like 2 seas of blood, full of bloodlust and indifference, like a puppet that had lost its humanity. In short, whether it was his eyes or his body, they were filled with a murderous and evil aura that could not be dispersed. How could this be? Lu Hong hurriedly got up and anxiously ran towards Qin Feiyang. However, as soon as she got close, Qin Feiyang suddenly raised his arm and grabbed her neck, his blood-red eyes revealing a kind of emotionless indifference. What a strange look. Seeing Qin Feiyang's eyes, Lu Hong's gaze trembled. However, there was no fear, nor was there alarm. She was only worried for Qin Feiyang. She was so worried that tears were flowing out of her eyes. This sudden turn of events gave the Wolf King and the other beasts quite a fright. The double-winged snow eagle hurriedly rushed up and shouted, "Little Qin Zi, what are you doing? Let go of her." Kiki, however, not only did Qin Feiyang turn a deaf ear to her, he even revealed a terrifying, evil grin. In addition to his blood-red hair and blood-red eyes, he looked extremely like a devil that came from hell. What the hell is going on? Everyone was in a mess. Suddenly, Wolf King looked at the kill character between Qin Feiyang's eyebrows, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he shouted, "Not good, it should be the kill formula that has eroded his consciousness." The kill formula has side effects? The pangolin beast was shocked. Wolf King said in a deep voice, "Such a bloody divine formula must have some side effects. The most important thing is that he has been using the kill formula for too long. Then what should we do? If we don't stop him, he may be possessed by the devil." The double-winged snow eagle roared, somewhat at a loss. "Nonsense, beat him." Wolf King shouted and took the lead to slap Qin Feiyang with his claws. The double-winged snow eagle, the pangolin beast, the black dragon snake, and the spirit snake emperor also immediately attacked Qin Feiyang. They wanted to use this method to call back Qin Feiyang's consciousness. Boom! Bang bang bang. Chapter 1034. Who am I? The blood-red clothed young man's eyes flickered with blood-red light as if a sea of blood was surging. He said, "Of course I can't be his twin brother, but we're the same person." The same person? Everyone was surprised. Looks like Qin Feiyang hasn't told you yet. That's true. If he told you, you'd be worried about him. The young man smiled coldly. The double-winged snow eagle asked, "What's the matter?" The blood-red clothed young man grinned hideously. "A long time ago, he already had an inner demon, and I'm his inner demon." What? Inner demons? Everyone was shocked. Everyone knew about the inner demons, but this was the first time they had seen it with their own eyes. Inner demons can only be born when someone is in extreme pain. What did he go through? Snake Viper was also in disbelief. This was too scary. Suddenly, Snake Viper seemed to have thought of something. His face changed and he shouted, "Oh no, get rid of him." Everyone was shocked and looked at him suspiciously. Inner demons are formed from the darkest side of a person. There's no humanity in him, only killing. And no matter what kind of inner demons they are, they will fight with the original body for control of the body. Now that he's here, he must be trying to take advantage of the situation to erase Qin Feiyang's consciousness and replace him. If he really replaces Qin Feiyang, with his cruel nature, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape death. Snake Viper shouted anxiously. Replace. Everyone's face turned pale when they heard that. The so-called replacement meant destruction. Boom! Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle rushed toward the inner demons. "You're just an ant trying to shake a tree." The inner demon sneered and waved his hand. A blood-red wave roared and blew Wolf King and the double-winged snow eagle away. So powerful. Viper's pupils contracted. Lu Hong was also very anxious. She looked at the inner demons and begged, "Please, don't hurt him." "Then can you give me a reason why you shouldn't hurt him?" The inner demons looked at Lu Hong playfully. Lu Hong stammered. The inner demons teased, "I know you like him and don't want to see him die, but is it worth it?" "Yes, I can die in his place," Lu Hong said resolutely. "What a foolish woman. You know, he only has the mermaid princess in his heart." The inner demons shook their heads and laughed. Is that so? Lu Hong's expression was slightly sluggish. The inner demons said, of course, I'm his inner demons. I know better than anyone what he's thinking. As for you, he only sees you as family. That's enough. I've never wanted too much. As long as I can stay by his side, it's enough. Lu Hong whispered. She looked at Qin Feiyang in front of her with deep feelings. He's so lucky to have met such a good woman like you. But he's also stupid. Everyone around him has already seen your feelings for him, but he's still living in a dream and doesn't know anything. As Wang Zicheng said, he's really a person with a very low EQ. The inner demons shook their heads. There was a trace of sympathy in their eyes. You even know Wang Zicheng? Viper was surprised. The inner demons said, nonsense, I've always lived in his inner world. I know everything and everyone he meets. Viper said, I'm very puzzled. Since you were born long ago, why didn't Qin Feiyang think of a way to get rid of you? The inner demon sneered, because his obsession hasn't disappeared. He can't get rid of me. Obsession, Viper's pupils shrank. What obsession does this person have in his heart? How could he give birth to the inner demons? You used to live in this body and lived in peace. Why do you want to come out now? Wolf King said in a deep voice. I'm tired of it. You won't understand how lonely and boring it is to stay in the inner world all the time. I've tried to seize control of this body several times, but this guy's temper is too bad. If I really did that, he would definitely die with me. So, I chose to endure and wait for the right time. I thought this day would be a long time coming, but I didn't expect it to come so soon. After he activated the kill formula, his murderous aura was too strong. It had already eroded his consciousness. With his current state, I can erase his consciousness with a casual wave of my hand. So, I came out. And now, no one can stop me. I will completely replace him and open up an era that belongs to me, Qin Feiyang. The inner demon's bloody hair fluttered in the wind. He was incomparably domineering. Then, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared between Qin Feiyang's eyebrows like lightning. Don't, Lu Hong cried out in grief, full of helplessness. Wolf King also roared hysterically, bastard, get out of his body for me. It's too late. The inner demon's voice sounded from Qin Feiyang's body. Immediately after, Qin Feiyang closed his eyes and his temperament underwent a tremendous change. Boom! Finally. A monstrous murderous aura rushed out from Qin Feiyang's body. He also opened his eyes. Those blood-red eyes were filled with a bone-chilling coldness. Success. I've finally replaced him. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at this body and suddenly laughed. It's over. Wolf King and the other beasts collapsed on the ground in despair. Everything was gone. Everything that Qin Feiyang did before was a wedding dress for the inner demons. Don't be like this. Although I'm the inner demons, I'm still Qin Feiyang. As long as you listen to me obediently in the future, I promise to treat you better than the original body. However, if you dare to go against me, I will kill you without mercy. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang grinned. His eyes were ruthless and indifferent. What about the slave seal? Viper asked. Of course the slave seal exists. Now you are my slave. A slave should have the consciousness of a slave. Don't bare your fangs and brandish your claws in front of me in the future. After all, I'm not as merciful as the original body. Kneel down immediately and call me master. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang shouted. Viper's body and mind trembled. He quickly knelt on the ground and respectfully said, Greetings, master. That's more like it. Be obedient. There will be plenty of benefits for you in the future. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. He then looked at Lu Hong and said with an evil smile, The original body doesn't cherish you. That's because he is stupid. From now on, you are my woman. As he spoke, he hugged Lu Hong's slender waist. He lowered his head and greedily smelled Lu Hong's body fragrance. His eyes were full of lecherous smiles. "You demon, let go of me." Lu Hong struggled frantically. "Don't you like me? Now that your wish is granted, why are you still not happy?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. "The one I like is Qin Feiyang, not you." Lu Hong roared. "Is there a difference between me and Qin Feiyang? He is me and I am him. We are the same person. Come, submit to me. I will let you stay by my side for the rest of your life. Be a happy woman." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang laughed evilly. His hands directly pressed on Lu Hong's chest and began to knead it wantonly. "Get lost." Lu Hong was extremely ashamed and angry. She slapped Qin Feiyang's face. "You have a personality. I like it." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang was not angry. Instead, he laughed excitedly. But suddenly, he let out a scream and quickly let go of Lu Hong. He squatted on the ground and covered his chest. His face was distorted. Under the clothes on his chest, there was a trace of blood. That's right. It was the concentric knot. Damn concentric knot. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang roared angrily. When the pain disappeared, he got up and looked at Lu Hong. He laughed evilly. "I wanted to be intimate with you, but it seems that there is no other way. But don't worry, after I marry the mermaid princess, the concentric knot will disappear. At that time, I will immediately make you my woman." Lu Hong looked at him with disgust and retreated to the front of the Wolf King and the winged snow eagle. She said helplessly, "What should we do?" "Don't worry. There will be a way." The two beasts comforted her softly, but their eyes flashed with a shocking light. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at the two beasts with disdain. He looked at Viper and said, "Hurry up and heal your injuries. Although the original body is dead, he still has to continue what he wants to do." "Yes, yes, yes." Viper nodded repeatedly. He sat cross-legged on the ground and closed his eyes to heal his qi. However, his heart couldn't calm down. The current Qin Feiyang was even more terrifying than the previous Qin Feiyang. If he was careless, he could lose his life. At the same time, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang also stopped using the kill part. His cultivation level quickly dropped to the level of a 3-star battle saint. However, his appearance didn't change at all. His blood-red hair and eyes emitted a shocking bloody aura. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Viper finally opened his eyes. He got up and looked at the inner demon's Qin Feiyang and said respectfully, "Master, my injuries have completely healed." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang nodded. He glanced at Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts and left the ancient castle with Viper. They appeared in the deep sea. Since Viper Island no longer existed, the exposed ancient castle would sink into the sea. The two avoided the sea beasts and flew out of the sea, standing in the sky above the sea. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang said, "Send a message to them." "Them?" Viper was slightly surprised and asked, "Didn't you only ask Dan Wangkai to come?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang said, "I changed my mind. Except for Wang Zicheng, call all of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea here." "Master, what do you want to do?" Viper asked. "What do I want to do? Of course, I want to make them all my slaves." The inner demon's Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth. His whole body emitted a monstrous domineering aura. Viper was shocked. One had to know. The 10 heroes of the Blue Sea were all geniuses. Each of them had mastered forbidden techniques and perfect combat arts. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that if they entered the divine city, they would immediately become the favored sons of the heavens. If they didn't die, they would at least become formidable characters in the future. But now, this guy in front of him actually wanted to take all of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea as his subordinates. Wasn't this guy too ambitious? The inner demon's Qin Feiyang said impatiently, hurry up. After it's done, I'll give you a great opportunity to be reborn in an instant. I really don't see what kind of opportunity you can give me. Chapter 1035. Hearing Viper's murmur, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang sneered, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't underestimate anyone, especially me, Qin Feiyang. Also, don't doubt my words. Viper's eyes trembled. A layer of green quickly crawled up his skin. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang looked at him suspiciously. I've been with Dan Wangkai and the others for a few hundred years. No one knows me better than them. If they see me seal the poison in my body, they will definitely be suspicious. Viper quickly explained. Not bad. Very thoughtful. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang nodded. Thank you, Master. Viper said respectfully. He then took out the image crystal and sent a message to the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang retreated to the side and watched coldly. A moment later. Other than Wang Zicheng, the 10 heroes of the Azure Sea were all notified. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang also asked Viper to call the gorgeous woman back. Because the gorgeous woman was a 1-star combat emperor, she could be of help if something happened. About half an hour later. Accompanied by the sound of waves, the gorgeous woman returned with Viper number 2. Is that Ancestor Mu? Yes, that's him. Although his hair and eyes are different from before, his facial features are exactly the same. Why is he with Master Viper? When the people on the ship saw Qin Feiyang, their faces immediately changed. Greetings, Master Viper. A group of people flew up from the ship and landed in front of Viper. They then bowed respectfully. Viper nodded and pointed at Qin Feiyang. This is Qin, cough cough. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang coughed and stared at Viper. Viper's heart trembled. He quickly changed his words, this Ancestor Mu is now my master. You have to listen to him from now on. Master? What's going on? The gorgeous woman and the others were shocked. Viper's face turned cold as he shouted, what are you all standing there for? Quickly kneel down and pay your respects to the Lord. Greetings, Lord Mu. Immediately. Hundreds of people uniformly knelt in the void and shouted respectfully. The scene was extremely spectacular. Yes. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, nodded coldly. He waved his hand and said, except for the red snake, everyone else scram. Scram? Everyone looked at each other. Where were they going? Viper shouted, hurry up and leave. Where are we going? Someone asked. Even if you want to get lost, shouldn't you at least tell me where to go? Go wherever you want, don't be an eyesore here. Viper roared anxiously. These were all subordinates that he had taken great pains to subdue. If he angered this fiend and killed them all, then he would really want to cry but have no tears. Yes, yes, yes. The group of people hurriedly responded. Then, they dispersed and quickly disappeared at the end of the sea. My lord, what exactly is going on? The gorgeous woman glanced at Qin Feiyang and secretly asked Viper. Viper sighed and said, it's a long story. I'll tell you when I have time. Where's Viper number 3? I've put it away. The gorgeous woman said. Viper secretly said, okay, put away Viper number 2 as well. The gorgeous woman nodded and waved her hand. Viper number 2, which was floating on the sea below, immediately began to shrink. In the end, it turned into a black light and disappeared into her forehead. However, at this moment, the inner demons, Qin Feiyang, stretched out his hand and looked at the gorgeous woman, saying, give it to me. The gorgeous woman was dumbfounded and looked at Viper. Viper's face was extremely ugly. It was obvious that Qin Feiyang wanted them to hand over Viper number 2. This was a genuine sacred artifact. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, said with a cold face, do you need me to say it again? No need, no need. Viper hurriedly waved his hand and looked at the gorgeous woman angrily. Master told you to give it to him immediately. Why are you looking at me? I've really seen a ghost today. The gorgeous woman muttered secretly. She was also quite angry, but since Viper had spoken, she didn't dare to disobey. She took out Viper number 2, erased the blood contract inside, and respectfully handed it to Qin Feiyang. And Viper number 3. Qin Feiyang said. The gorgeous woman's face stiffened. Here. Viper shouted. Hearing this, the gorgeous woman obediently took out Viper number 3 and handed it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang also immediately cut his finger and dripped blood to bind it. Purple gold blood? The gorgeous woman was stunned and retreated to Viper's side. She asked in surprise, Master, what's with his blood? It actually has a strong dragon aura. Is he a monster? How would I know? Maybe he really is the reincarnation of a monster. Viper muttered. Tell her my plan. Remember, don't fail, or don't blame me for being ruthless. At this time, Qin Feiyang looked up at Viper and said coldly. Then he put away Viper number 2 and Viper number 3, stepped back a few feet, sat cross-legged in the void, and closed his eyes to rest. Plan? The gorgeous woman was stunned and turned to look at Viper suspiciously. Viper glanced at Qin Feiyang and whispered a few words in the gorgeous woman's ear. What? After hearing this, the gorgeous woman couldn't help but turn pale with fright. Was this man crazy? Was he planning to subdue the 10 heroes of Qinghai? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang opened his eyes and looked at the two of them. By the way, don't you know Qin Feiyang? Who is Qin Feiyang? The gorgeous woman was puzzled. Qin Feiyang is such a famous person, but you don't know him. It seems that Qinghai is really a world of its own, just as Wang Zicheng said. Qin Feiyang murmured and then closed his eyes again. Viper and the gorgeous woman looked at each other and didn't know what to say for a while. At the same time, in Qin Feiyang's inner world, the inner world was still a blood-red world as before. Moreover, blood rain fell from the sky and the air was filled with a strong smell of blood. In the center of the inner world, a blood-red figure stood in the void. That figure was surrounded by a thick blood mist and his face couldn't be seen clearly. Only his eyes were closed and his body was trembling. Whoosh! Suddenly, a young man in blood-red clothes appeared in the inner world. It was Qin Feiyang's inner demons. The inner demons walked to the blood-red figure and looked at the closed eyes of the blood-red figure with a gloomy face. Alas! After a long time, the inner demon sighed and stretched out his hand to press between the eyebrows of the blood-red figure. Immediately, a blood-red evil spirit roared out from between the eyebrows of the blood-red figure and poured into the palm of the inner demons and was absorbed by the inner demons. As the evil spirit disappeared, the blood-red figure gradually became clear. Dozens of breaths later, his face was clearly displayed before everyone's eyes. It was another Qin Feiyang. But different from the inner demons, as the evil spirit disappeared, this Qin Feiyang's long hair turned black. And his skin was exactly the same as an ordinary person's. It was the original Qin Feiyang. It was such a good opportunity. Not only did I not erase his consciousness, but I also saved him. When did I become so kind? Am I still the inner demons? The inner demons retracted his arm, his face full of annoyance. At the same time, the blood rain in the sky also stopped. Just as the inner demons finished speaking, the black-haired Qin Feiyang let out a weak murmur and then slowly opened his eyes. Where is this? His eyes were as deep and bright as a black gem, but at this moment there was a trace of confusion. Inner world. The inner demons rolled his eyes. This voice is so familiar. The black-haired Qin Feiyang looked at the inner demons, his confused eyes suddenly became clear, and he asked suspiciously, Why are you here? Why am I here? The inner demons immediately became angry and roared, you still have the nerve to ask me? Don't you know how to use the kill formula for the first time? Kill formula, the black-haired Qin Feiyang was taken aback. Suddenly, pieces of memories emerged from the depths of his mind. He quickly looked at the inner demons and asked, "Is Lu Hong okay?" "She's fine. However, if I didn't stop it in time, I'm afraid not only Lu Hong but also the wolf cubs would have died in your hands." The inner demons said coldly. "Phew." The black-haired Qin Feiyang let out a long breath and said with a smile, "So, you saved me?" "Nonsense, who can withstand the killing intent and evil spirit in your body except me?" The inner demons glared at him fiercely. Killing intent, evil spirit, the black-haired Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and looked at himself. The killing intent of the kill formula is too strong, especially when you absorb the blood of those holy beasts. It almost made you lose consciousness. But it's all right now. When you were unconscious, I had already absorbed all the killing intent and evil spirit. The inner demons said lightly. This, as if he had discovered a new continent, Qin Feiyang looked up and down at the inner demons carefully. "Don't look at me like that. Just now, I was also having an ideological struggle. Should I take the opportunity to erase your consciousness and replace it? But what the hell, in the end, I unexpectedly helped you." The inner demons was furious. "That's because you have feelings for me." Qin Feiyang laughed mischievously. "Don't be disgusting, this time it's just my brain short-circuited." "Yes, that's it, don't think too much. If there is a next time, I will definitely not be merciful." The inner demon snorted through his nose. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "No matter what, I still want to thank you for pulling me back from the hands of the Grim Reaper." TSK. The inner demons disdainfully raised his middle finger and then said with a smirk, "But Lu Hong and the others all thought you were dead, and now they are crying sadly." Qin Feiyang was stunned and said with a dark face, "You didn't take the opportunity to do something, did you?" "I'm not you, I'm the inner demons, and I will definitely do something a little more despicable." The inner demons laughed and then said angrily, "You should have found a way to get rid of this concentric knot earlier. At the critical moment, it always comes out to make trouble." "You," Qin Feiyang stared at him angrily. Although he didn't see the situation at that time, from the inner demon's words, he could imagine that he must have done something to Lu Hong. The inner demons said again, "But then again, that Lu Hong is really infatuated with you. Are you really going to let her down? Can you not ask such a sharp question?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "Even if I don't ask, you have to face it sooner or later. You can't play dumb for the rest of your life, right?" The inner demon said. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and sighed, "We'll talk about it when the time comes. I'll go out and tell them that I'm safe, lest they worry. Wait." Chapter 1036. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang turned his head and looked at him suspiciously. The inner demons said discontentedly, "I saved you after all. Shouldn't you let me go out and have some fun? Haven't you been having fun for so long?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "How long has it been?" "At least give me a day." The inner demon said. "This," Qin Feiyang hesitated. "I say, you can't be like this. We agreed that I would go out and get some fresh air when I have time, but it's been so long, and there's no reaction at all. If you hadn't gone mad this time, I'm afraid you wouldn't have thought of me even after a few hundred years." The inner demons were very unhappy. Qin Feiyang was quite embarrassed. Indeed. Most of the time, he simply forgot about the existence of the inner demons. The inner demons said impatiently, "Can you do it or not? If you can't do it, don't blame me for hitting you when you're down next time." Qin Feiyang smiled helplessly and nodded, "Okay, as you wish, but I still have to tell the white-eyed wolf first, in case they do something stupid." The inner demons sneered, "They will do something stupid? You underestimate them too much. I'm afraid now, they are planning how to get rid of me. Isn't this what you asked for?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. Wouldn't it be fine if he just told the white-eyed wolf the truth directly? Why did he have to tease them? TSK. I don't care about those little bastards. But then again, you'd better not use the kill formula so easily in the future. Even if you want to use it, you can't use it for more than half an hour. The inner demon said. Half an hour. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. The inner demon said, according to my observation, half an hour should be the limit. Limit? Qin Feiyang mumbled. He looked up at the inner demons and said, say, if you activate the kill formula next time, will this happen? Me? The inner demons were stunned. They had never thought about this before. Qin Feiyang pondered and said, since you can absorb killing intent and baleful aura, it means that the kill character formula is not a threat to you, right? I am the inner demons. Not only will these killing intent and evil spirits not affect me, but they will also make me stronger. The inner demons interrupted Qin Feiyang and nodded repeatedly. Then, in the future, when I need to activate the kill formula, you will be in control of this body. Qin Feiyang smiled. Although the kill formula had side effects, as long as the inner demons were present, these side effects could be completely ignored. It's my pleasure. The inner demons also laughed. Outside. Time trickled by. Whoosh. Suddenly. Accompanied by the sound of something breaking through the air, a black figure broke through the air like lightning. He's here. Viper and the gorgeous woman looked up. Wisps of light flashed in the depths of their eyes. It was a young man in black. He was very short, estimated to be only about 1.5 meters tall. His body was also very thin. He could even be described as skinny as a match. His appearance was also very ugly. He had a pointy mouth and monkey cheeks. He winked like a little monkey. Moreover, his skin was extremely dark, as if he had smeared a layer of pot ash on his body. At the same time, Qin Feiyang also opened his eyes. His blood-red eyes were filled with a shocking bloody aura. Obviously. Now, the inner demons were still in control of this body. He is Dan Wangkai. When he saw the young man in black, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang's face suddenly became strange. No. He is the black monkey. Although he looks ugly, his strength is very terrifying. He ranks in the top 5 of the Qinghai 10 heroes. Viper secretly explained. Black monkey, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang smiled mockingly. This person's image and name were quite suitable. Whoosh. After a few breaths, the black monkey landed in front of Viper and glanced at the sea below. He was surprised and asked, where is Viper Island? Why is it gone? It's a long story. Viper sighed deeply. The black monkey glanced at Qin Feiyang, who was sitting not far away, and asked suspiciously, who is he? A friend. Viper said vaguely. You, Viper, have a friend? The black monkey seemed to have discovered a new continent. His eyes were shining and full of curiosity. Viper's face darkened. He said angrily, what do you mean? Can't I, Viper, have a few friends? Yes. The black monkey chuckled and said, tell me, why are you looking for me? Viper said, I found a treasure, but I don't know what it is. I want you to help me identify it. Treasure? The black monkey's eyes lit up and urged, take it out and let me see. Wait. After saying that, Viper winked at the gorgeous woman and took out his chinkuan bag, pretending to look for it. The black monkey's attention was focused on Viper's chinkuan bag and did not notice that the gorgeous woman took out a dagger. Did you find it? Are you messing with me? Seeing that Viper did not take out the so-called treasure, the black monkey lost his patience and a ferocious aura crept up between his brows. Viper looked up at him and sighed. Brother monkey, don't blame me. I was forced to do this. What do you mean? The black monkey looked at him in confusion. However, the next moment, He felt a pain in his abdomen. Looking down, he saw a dagger piercing through his abdomen. Whoosh! He turned around and looked at the gorgeous woman with killing intent in his eyes. "I'm sorry." The gorgeous woman smiled charmingly and retreated to the side after pulling out the dagger. Immediately, blood spurted out from the black monkey's abdomen. His aura dissipated quickly and he was reduced to a cripple in the blink of an eye. The black monkey immediately turned to Viper and said angrily, "Old poison, how dare you plot against me?" Viper shrugged and said innocently, "I told you, I was forced to do this." Forced? The black monkey was shocked. Who had the ability to force the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea to do this? While the black monkey was still in shock, Viper reached out his hand and grabbed the black monkey's clothes. Like a little chick, he twisted the black monkey and walked toward Qin Feiyang. "Viper, what are you doing? Let me go." The black monkey roared in anger. However, when it glanced at Qin Feiyang from the corner of its eyes, it suddenly thought of something and stared at Qin Feiyang. Could it be him? But this person was only a 3-star battle saint. How could he force the old poison? Viper walked in front of Qin Feiyang and said respectfully, "Master, please punish me." "Master?" The black monkey was stunned. He suddenly turned to Viper and roared, "What's going on?" An 8-star battle saint, one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes, actually called a 3-star battle saint as his master. Wasn't this too ridiculous? If he didn't hear it with his own ears, he wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. "You'll know what's going on later." Viper smiled coldly. "Bastard, submitting to a 3-star battle saint, do you still deserve to be one of the Blue Sea's 10 heroes? I'm really ashamed of you." The black monkey roared. Viper was also angry and roared, "Do you think I want to? But some things are destined and can't be changed." Speaking of this, Viper snorted and said disdainfully, "Don't be in a hurry to scold me. Because later you'll be like me, obediently submitting to my master." Submitting to him? Stop dreaming. Even if I die, I won't submit to a 3-star battle saint. The black monkey sneered and looked at Qin Feiyang with contempt. "Is that so?" The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, grinned and his eyes flashed. "Yes. You'd better kill me now. Otherwise, after I repair my Qi, I won't let you go." The black monkey said. "Then I'd like to see if your bones are that hard." Qin Feiyang formed a seal with both hands. A slave seal quickly condensed and entered the black monkey's head like lightning. "Ah!" The black monkey suddenly screamed and felt that its head was about to explode. But soon. Then, the pain disappeared. Qin Feiyang took out a spirit sea pill and threw it to the black monkey. He said playfully, "Hurry up and repair your Qi. I'm still waiting for you to kill me." "You're actually giving me a spirit sea pill? It seems like you're really not afraid of death. Haven't you heard that letting the tiger return to the mountain will cause endless trouble?" The black monkey caught the spirit sea pill and stared at Qin Feiyang in astonishment. "Letting the tiger return to the mountain? That depends on whether you're a real tiger or not." Qin Feiyang pursed his lips in disdain. "Alright, just you wait." The black monkey smiled sinisterly. He swallowed the spirit sea pill and began to repair his Qi. So. At this time. In the distance, there was another sound of breaking wind. The few of them looked towards the source of the sound and saw a white figure riding the wind and breaking the waves, speeding towards them. "He's Dan Wangkai. We can't let the black monkey stay here. Otherwise, when he sees the black monkey's injuries, Dan Wangkai will definitely be suspicious." Snake hurriedly said to Qin Feiyang. The black monkey sneered, "I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay here." "That's not up to you." The inner demons, Qin Feiyang glanced at him mockingly. With a wave of his hand, he sent the black monkey to the castle. "Master, Dan Wangkai only knows how to make pills. In his eyes, other than making pills, there's nothing that can attract him." So to deal with him, you don't have to cripple his cultivation like you did with the black monkey. Snake said in a low voice. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang said, you mean, you want me to show him my skills? That's right. As long as he sees your talent in alchemy, I guarantee that he'll be obedient to you. Snake said. I'm not as patient as the real me. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang snorted from his nose, got up and said, same as before, cripple him. Yes. Snake's eyes trembled and quickly nodded in response. That's right. The current Qin Feiyang was no longer the Qin Feiyang from before. Now, the inner demons were in charge. With the inner demon's personality, how could they do such a troublesome thing? Next. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and stood behind Snake with the gorgeous woman, pretending to be Snake's subordinates. Whoosh. Soon. The white figure descended in the void in front of the three of them. It was a young man who was about 1.8 meters tall. He was wearing a white robe and appeared rather thin. His appearance was also very ordinary. And in between his eyebrows, there was an eye-catching flame symbol. Chapter 1037. Viper raised his eyebrows and said with a sinister smile, I would like to see how you are going to be rude. Dan Wangcai's overbearing attitude made him extremely unhappy. Are you provoking me? Dan Wangcai's face turned cold. Viper was about to speak, but Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice to him, don't talk nonsense. Settle this quickly. Viper's heart skipped a beat. He suppressed the anger in his heart and said, do you see Viper Island? Dan Wangcai lowered his head and glanced at the sea below. Viper Island was nowhere to be seen. He frowned and said, what happened? Viper said, someone came and said that he wanted to provoke us, the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. Viper Island was destroyed by him. Who is it? Dan Wangcai was surprised and puzzled. Viper quietly approached Dan Wangcai and said, I don't know his name. I only know that he is an 8-star battle saint and is very powerful. He even broke my forbidden technique. What? Dan Wangcai turned pale with fright. The forbidden technique was the most powerful technique of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. How could it be broken by someone? Moreover, the other party's cultivation was the same as Viper's, an 8-star battle saint. This was too unbelievable. Dan Wangcai was still wary of Viper. After all, Viper was notorious. Moreover, they were also part of the 10 heroes of the Blue Sea. Naturally, they knew Viper's character well. Therefore, whether it was now or in the past, he would always be cautious whenever he was with Viper. However, Dan Wangcai was shocked by Viper's words. He had unknowingly let his guard down. This was undoubtedly a good opportunity for Viper. Viper took the opportunity and stepped forward. He grabbed Dan Wangcai's neck and raised his other arm. Battle chi gushed out from his fingertips and instantly entered Dan Wangcai's sea of chi. Ah! Dan Wangcai screamed in pain as blood spurted out from his lower abdomen. He stared at Viper in shock and anger. Viper sneered and said, that's why you let your guard down. I have to admit that you are the most difficult person to deal with among the 10 heroes of Qinghai. So you wanted to plot against me. Why did you do that? Dan Wangcai couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He didn't expect that the old poison had hidden himself so deeply. Viper did not answer. Instead, he dragged Dan Wangcai to Qin Feiyang and smiled flatteringly. Master, how was your subordinate's performance? Master? What's going on? Isn't he your subordinate? Dan Wangcai was bewildered. With my little ability, do I have the qualifications to make him my subordinate? Viper laughed at himself. Dan Wangcai became even more bewildered. Was this still the Viper he knew? How could he slander him like this? Qin Feiyang glanced at Dan Wangcai and then looked up at Viper with a grin. You did well. I'm a man of my word. I'll give you a great fortune later. Master, can you not mention the great fortune? Viper smiled bitterly. He admitted that Qin Feiyang's methods were indeed very frightening, but to bestow upon him great fortune, how was that possible? It was useless to say more. Qin Feiyang directly made a hand seal and controlled Dan Wangkai. What did you do to me? Dan Wangkai stared at Qin Feiyang in shock and anger. As the #1 alchemist in the internal sea, you should have spirit sea pills. If you want to settle accounts with me, go repair your Qi Sea. Inner demons. Qin Feiyang didn't answer. After saying that, he waved his hand and sent Dan Wangkai to the castle. Viper whispered, Master, they are all unruly people. If you let them stay in the castle alone, I'm afraid they will hurt Lu Hong and the others when their Qi Sea is repaired. Don't worry. I'll calculate the time when they repair their Qi Sea. Besides, it doesn't matter even if they kill those small fries. Inner demons. Qin Feiyang waved his hand coldly. When he said this, a sly look flashed in the depths of his eyes. Obviously, he deliberately said this to Wolf King and the others. Bastard! How dare you call us small fries? You've gone too far. Sure enough. Wolf King and the other beasts in the castle were furious. Lu Hong shouted, Calm down. We can't fight with him now because we still have to avenge Qin Feiyang. Yes. We must kill him. Although little Qin Zi is dead, we can't let that bastard control little Qin Zi's body and do whatever he wants. The two-winged snow eagle said coldly. You were also taken captive? Black Monkey and Dan Wangkai looked at each other and asked after seeing Lu Hong, Wolf King and the other beasts filled with grief and indignation. Shut up. We're not like you. This is our home. We'll take it back from that damned beast sooner or later. Wolf King shouted, full of hostility. Black Monkey and Wolf King looked at each other again, a light flashing in their eyes. Dan Wangkai smiled and said, You can't do it with your abilities. Why don't we work together? Work together? Do you think we're stupid? We don't know what you're thinking. Let me tell you, if you dare to have any ideas about this castle, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Wolf King shouted. This was Qin Feiyang's property. No one could touch it. Dan Wangkai smiled embarrassedly and sat cross-legged next to Black Monkey. Both of them fell silent. Because they could see that Lu Hong, Wolf King and the other beasts were filled with anger and killing intent at this moment. If they provoked them verbally, they would probably go berserk on the spot. Although Wolf King and the other beasts were not as strong as the two of them, their sea of qi had been destroyed and they had lost all their cultivation. If they really fought, they would be the ones at a disadvantage. However, the two of them began to communicate in secret. Black Monkey glanced at the netherworld devil flame and said, Dan Wangkai, do you see that elixir fire? It seems to be a 7th grade elixir fire. Yes. Dan Wangkai nodded his head without leaving a trace, and said, and that pill furnace, according to my judgment, should be a 7th grade pill furnace. The pill furnace that Qin Feiyang was using was indeed a 7th grade pill furnace, called the Fire Luan Furnace. It was a congratulatory gift that the pavilion master of the trading pavilion had given to Qin Feiyang during the apprenticeship ceremony. Black Monkey looked at the 2 iron boxes on the altar that contained the 6-word divine arts and the alchemy scripture. His eyes were filled with greed as he thought to himself, there must be some treasures in those 2 iron boxes. Dan Wangkai sent a sound transmission, don't leave any traces. When our sea of qi is restored, we'll let him rob us all. Black Monkey nodded, and the greed in his eyes quickly disappeared. Outside, Qin Feiyang and the other 2 waited for a moment, and finally, the 3rd person came. It was a burly man, more than 2 meters tall, with a head of thick black hair, and his entire body was filled with a valiant aura. It's the Big Bull. Although this person is well developed, he's not stupid at all. He's not easy to deal with. Viper said in a low voice. I know that. Qin Feiyang nodded his head. He now had a general understanding of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes. In terms of intelligence, not many people among the Azure Sea's 10 heroes could be compared to the Big Bull. Whoosh! However, for more people came from other directions at the same time. They were 3 men and 2 women. All of them looked young and had an extraordinary temperament. The aura they emitted was also unfathomable. Including the Big Bull, there were 6 people. The Azure Sea's 10 heroes, except for Wang Zicheng, were all here. However, the 6 of them came at the same time, which became a big problem. Why are they all here together? Viper's expression changed slightly. He turned his head to look at Qin Feiyang and asked, "What should we do now?" Qin Feiyang's expression was also quite ugly. Each of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes could display the strength of a 1-star combat emperor. It would be fine if there were only 1 or 2 of them, but it would be difficult to deal with 6 of them at once. The most powerful person here was the gorgeous woman. With her strength, it was impossible for her to cripple the cultivation of 6 people at once. If she couldn't cripple the cultivation of 6 people at once, they would be the ones to suffer in the end. Let's call it a day. Come closer. I'll give you a way to deal with them. Qin Feiyang said. Viper came closer. Qin Feiyang whispered a few words in his ear and went directly to the ancient castle. If they captured them by force and failed, Viper would be useless. It would undoubtedly be more difficult to capture them in the future. Therefore, it was better to give up temporarily to avoid alerting the enemy. Anyway, there was still a long way to go. They could slowly think of a way to capture the rest of the Azure Sea's 10 heroes. After a dozen breaths, the Big Bull and the other 5 arrived in front of Viper. The Big Bull glanced at the non-existent Viper Island and then glanced at the other 3 men and 2 women. He frowned and said, "Viper, why did you call us here?" "Ancestor Mu is here," Viper said in a deep voice. The Big Bull raised his eyebrows and asked, "Viper Island was destroyed by him?" "Yes." Viper nodded. "That's impossible. When we separated in the external Endless Sea, Ancestor Mu had just become a 2-star battle saint. How could he do that? Could it be that Wang Zicheng is helping him?" The Big Bull said. "No. He came alone. He's not a 2-star battle saint but an 8-star battle saint. Also, the One-Eyed Dragon and Black Snake were killed by him. Even Viper number 2 and Viper number 3 were taken by him. Frankly speaking, I called you here to ask for your help. I can't let this matter rest," Viper said coldly. The 6 of them looked at each other. To them, all of this was simply a fantasy story. The gorgeous woman said, "It's true. Ancestor Mu has a kind of invisibility art. He can come and go without a trace. That's how he killed Black Snake with a single slash. It seems like I've underestimated him. But why should we help you?" The Big Bull stared at Viper with a playful look. The other 5 also had a gloating look on their faces. Viper said, "As long as you help me find him, I won't interfere when the alchemy fire appears." The Big Bull's face darkened. "Old Viper, what do you mean? We agreed to work together to snatch the alchemy fire. You still have the nerve to talk about working together? It's fine if you don't help me when I'm in trouble, but you're asking me why? Then tell me, why should I work with you?" Viper transmitted his voice. The barbarian bull's brows raised as he looked at the other 3 men and 2 women, and he said, "Even though this fellow Viper is slightly detestable, we're the 10 elites of the Azure Sea after all. Now that Ancestor Mu has provoked him, it's equivalent to provoking us. So, we should help him at this moment." "That's true. But I have a condition. After we're done, give me a bottle of the sacred water you concocted." One of the women said. "I want a bottle too." The other woman also laughed. They had long been drooling over the sacred water that could cure hundreds of poisons. However, Viper wouldn't give them a drop no matter how much they begged in the past. So, they naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. Viper's eyes flashed and he nodded. All right, I promise. After we're done, I'll give each of you a bottle. The 6 of them laughed. After that, they whispered to each other for a while, and then the 6 of them left. Phew. Viper let out a long breath, but a trace of suspicion crept onto his face. The gorgeous woman by the side also had a puzzled expression. She walked to Viper's side and said in a low voice, "My lord, why did that Qin Feiyang want you to say that? Isn't he making enemies for himself?" "I'm not sure either." Viper shook his head. "Then, has he left?" The gorgeous woman glanced at the void and frowned. "I don't know." Viper shook his head again. He had roamed the inland sea for hundreds of years and had never felt so helpless before. Boom! After an unknown period of time, a huge wave suddenly rose on the surface of the sea. Qin Feiyang broke through the waves, his hair and eyes still blood-red. Chapter 1038. Did you do as I told you? The inner demons Qin Feiyang asked. Yes, but I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Aren't you afraid that they will really find trouble with you? Viper looked confused. That's exactly what I want. Because this way, I can defeat them one by one. The inner demons Qin Feiyang smiled ferociously. Viper suddenly understood. It turned out that his master had not given up on the idea of capturing others. Come with me to the castle. The inner demons Qin Feiyang waved his hand and led Viper and the other 2 to the castle. The gorgeous woman looked around in surprise. The inner demons Qin Feiyang was already used to this, because anyone who entered the castle for the first time would have such a reaction. The Black Monkey and Dan Wangkai were still repairing their Sea of Qi. Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts all stared at the inner demons Qin Feiyang with grief and indignation. The inner demons Qin Feiyang stepped forward and landed in front of Lu Hong. He lifted Lu Hong's chin and smiled. "Little beauty, are you a little impatient to be my woman?" "Bastard." Lu Hong spat, her eyes full of disgust. At the same time, in the inner world, Qin Feiyang's face also darkened and blue veins popped out. This bastard was obviously doing this on purpose. You have personality. I like it. The inner demons Qin Feiyang smiled, got up and walked to the front of the altar. He opened the iron box of the 6-word formula. In addition to the iron book, there was also a Qinkuan bag. And this Qinkuan bag was full of potential pills, red fire glass pills, and Juku yellow dragon pills. Back then, when Lu Xingchen and Mu Qing entered the castle, Qin Feiyang was afraid that they would mess around, so he put all these pills in the iron box. Because the iron box could only be opened with his blood. There was nowhere safer than here. The inner demons Qin Feiyang grabbed the Qinkuan pouch and turned to look at Venom's snake, saying, "Now, I will bestow upon you a great fortune." Viper looked at the Qinkuan pouch in bewilderment. However, he raised his eyebrows in disapproval. There might really be some treasure in this cosmos sack, but he still didn't believe that it was some great fortune. Everything here is ours. Die. However, at this moment, the Black Monkey and Dan Wangkai leaped up at the same time, attacking the inner demons Qin Feiyang from both sides. The gorgeous woman was startled and was about to attack. However, Viper gave her a look, and the gorgeous woman understood. She did not make another move, but stood aside and watched coldly. Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts looked at each other and did not interfere. The inner demons Qin Feiyang saw all of this, but he was not angry. He looked at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing with a playful smile. Both of them were 9-star battle saints. They were extremely fast and landed in front of the inner demons Qin Feiyang in the blink of an eye. Without saying anything, they clenched their fists and attacked Qin Feiyang's head and heart. They were afraid that a long delay would cause trouble, so they wanted to kill Qin Feiyang in one blow. Your courage is commendable, but your methods are still lacking. The inner demon's Qin Fei Yang smiled hideously and activated the seal of slavery. Ah! Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing fell to the ground. Their noses were bruised and their eyes were swollen. They held their heads and howled in pain. What a pair of useless trash. Viper cursed silently. He wanted to use Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing to get rid of Qin Fei Yang so that he could regain his freedom. However, he did not expect the two of them to be so useless. They did not even move a finger and were already lying on the ground crying and howling. He knew that he could not remain silent anymore. Otherwise, he would definitely arouse the dissatisfaction of Qin Fei Yang. He stepped forward and kicked Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing away. He spat out blood and shouted, "How dare you be so rude to master? You're courting death." Then he turned to Qin Fei Yang and said indignantly, "Master, these two are really stubborn. We can't let them live. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble in the future." "Then what do you think we should do?" The inner demon's Qin Fei Yang looked at him mockingly. Viper said, "Master, as long as you give the order, I will immediately cut off their heads and make them into stools for you to sit on." "Old poison, you spineless coward. You're a disgrace to the 10 heroes of Qinghai." Mu Qing roared as he endured the pain in his head and stared at Viper angrily. Viper said righteously, "The 10 heroes of Qinghai are nothing. I only have one wish now, and that is to do my best for master until my death." "Bastard. Do you have any backbone? Do you have any dignity as a human being?" Mu Qing and Mu Qing were extremely angry. Viper's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He turned to Qin Fei Yang and said respectfully, "Master, please deal with them." "Okay. Help me chop off their heads. While you're at it, help me turn their heads into wine cups. It must be delicious to drink wine in wine glasses made from their heads." The inner demon's Qin Fei Yang licked his lips. His eyes were filled with a strong bloodthirsty light. He was like a demon, chilling people. "Hee hee." Viper sneered and walked toward Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing. Looking at Qin Fei Yang's blood-red eyes and Viper's ferocious expression, Dan Wangkai and Black Monkey felt a deep fear from the bottom of their hearts. "Master, please spare our lives. We don't want to die. Please, give us a way out. We swear that we'll serve you wholeheartedly in the future. If we have second thoughts, may the heavens and earth destroy us." At the moment of death, the two abandoned their dignity without hesitation and chose to live. After all, no one wanted to die. "It's too late." Viper sneered. He had wanted to kill the rest of the 10 heroes of Qinghai for a long time, but he hadn't found the opportunity. Now that he had such a good opportunity, how could he let it go? Whoosh! Before Qin Fei Yang changed his mind, he landed in front of the two like lightning. He stretched out his hands like an eagle's claws and grabbed Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing's heads. His murderous intent was bone-piercing. "No," the two screamed in desperation. "It's useless. You're going to die today." Viper sneered. "Stop." But before he could finish his words, Qin Fei Yang's voice rang out. The smile on Viper's face froze, but he gritted his teeth and continued to attack Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He didn't want to give it up. "You're courting death." Qin Fei Yang, the inner demon's eyes turned cold. With a thought, Viper held his head and screamed. He quickly knelt on the ground and begged, "Master, please spare my life. I know I was wrong. Please don't kill me. I beg you." Qin Fei Yang, the inner demons, said, "Even if you're a dragon, you'd better coil up in front of me." "Yes, yes, yes. I won't do it again," Viper nodded repeatedly. He was terrified to the extreme. "Humph, don't do it again. Otherwise, even if you're useful to me, I won't be merciful." Qin Fei Yang, the inner demons, snorted coldly. He stopped using the seal of slavery. Only then did the pain in Viper's head disappear. "I understand." Viper nodded and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He then got up and retreated to the side. He was terrified. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, looked at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing and said, "Are you sincerely submitting to me?" Sincerely, sincerely. After witnessing Qin Feiyang's methods, the two of them didn't dare to have any other thoughts. They obeyed. Very good. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, glanced at Dan Wangkai and Mu Qing and Viper and said, "From now on, the three of you will be my left and right arms. As long as you're loyal, I won't mistreat you." "Yes, master." The three of them knelt on one knee and were extremely respectful. "Get up." Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, waved his hand and said, "Yes." The three of them got up and looked at each other. There was a hint of sadness in their eyes. The 10 heroes of Qinghai had dominated this sea area and made countless people tremble in fear. They didn't expect that one day they would become someone's slaves. Don't look unwilling. Following me won't bury your talents. Instead, it will make you more dazzling. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said. The three of them smiled apologetically, but they didn't think so in their hearts. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, smiled coldly and took out a potential pill from his Qinkuan bag. He placed it in his palm and said, "Do you know what this is?" The three of them looked at the potential pill. I've refined countless pills, but I've never seen this pill before. Dan Wangkai moved closer, his eyes full of surprise. What? Even you haven't seen it before? Hearing this, the venomous snake, the black monkey, and the glamorous woman were astounded. Do you know about the Gate of Potential? Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, asked. Gate of Potential? Viper and the other two were stunned. Then, a trace of arrogance appeared on their faces. Dan Wangkai said proudly, "We, the 10 heroes of Qinghai, have all opened the Gate of Potential." Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, was shocked and asked, "Which level?" Viper said, "We've all opened the first level. Wang Zicheng is more powerful than us. He has already opened the second level. No wonder he could forcefully break through the holy aura of a 1-star combat emperor." Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, muttered. He then took off his clothes and sneered, "Then look, how many levels have I opened?" This, Viper and the other two were stunned when they saw the potential mark on his chest. That mark was dark gold in color. They had never heard of a dark gold potential mark. How could they know which level it was? The 6th level. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said. Boom! It was as if a bolt of lightning had exploded in their heads. Their bodies and minds were trembling. It was the 6th level of the Gate of Potential. Oh my God, how did he do it? The beautiful woman also had a look of disbelief. Could it be related to the elixir in his hands? The 4 of them looked at the potential elixir again. The shock in their eyes was even stronger. You're right. I can open the Gate of Potential because of this potential elixir. And these few, such as Wolf Cub and Lu Hong, have all opened the 5th and 6th level. One of my subordinates has even opened the 7th level. Qin Feiyang, the inner demons, said. The subordinate he was referring to was Yen Wei. The 7th level. Isn't that the ultimate combat Saint Realm? It can even break through the ultimate combat Saint Realm. This elixir is amazing. The few of them were so shocked that they couldn't even close their mouths. So this is the great fortune. Viper's eyes trembled. He suddenly knelt on the ground and begged, Master, please give this subordinate the potential elixir. Master, please give us the potential elixir too. Chapter 1039. So realistic. Isn't that right? Previously, he looked like he would rather die than submit. Now that he heard about the potential pill, he immediately bowed and fawned like a mangy dog. So the Qinghai 10 heroes are just so. Wolf King and the other beasts couldn't help but mock Viper and the other two who were kneeling on the ground without any regard for their dignity. Viper and the other two were quite embarrassed when they heard that. But when they thought of the benefits brought by the potential pill, they immediately made up their minds. They must get the potential pill. As for their dignity, they could slowly get it back when they became stronger. And in the cruel world of cultivation, this was a very realistic problem. Without powerful strength, the so-called dignity would only be ruthlessly trampled on by others. Looking at the three's performance, the inner demon's Qin Feiyang's face was full of ridicule. He said, "Now you want it, but who was the one who questioned my ability again and again?" Viper was ashamed. "Enough. I'll stop teasing you. Now, I'll give each of you one. As for the future, it will depend on your performance. Whoever performs well, I'll help you unlock the next few levels of the potential door." After the inner demon's Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he took out 2 more potential pills and threw them to Viper and the other 2. "Thank you, Master. We'll definitely perform well in the future and won't let you down." The 3 grabbed the potential pills as if they had received a treasure. They were grateful. Seeing that Qin Feiyang didn't mention her at all, the gorgeous woman on the side couldn't help but feel anxious. She also wanted such a powerful potential pill. She quickly went up to Qin Feiyang and said in a coquettish voice, "Master, what about me?" "You?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. The gorgeous woman said, "Yes, I also contributed to capturing Dan Wangkai and the black monkey. Besides, I'm more valuable than them." "Red Snake, what are you doing?" Viper shouted coldly. Dan Wangkai and the black monkey were also dissatisfied. This woman clearly wanted to compete with them for favor. The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, glanced at the 3 of them and said, "Let her speak." "Yes." The 3 of them replied respectfully and fell silent. "Master, look, although I don't have any forbidden techniques, my cultivation is stronger than theirs. More importantly, I am a woman. If Master needs me, I can serve you at any time." The beautiful woman chuckled. She didn't hide the unvarnished intention in her words. "Really?" Qin Feiyang showed a very interested look. "Yes. As long as Master doesn't mind, I'll be yours from now on." The more the gorgeous woman spoke, the more intimate she became. She even leaned her whole body on Qin Feiyang. Dan Wangkai said angrily, "Viper, why did you take her in as your subordinate? Aren't you just looking for trouble? Are you blaming me?" Viper glared at him. "Who would have thought that this day would come? Who should I blame if not you?" Dan Wangkai was furious. Viper said angrily, "I'm curious. Is this your first day knowing Red Snake? She has always been like this." "That's enough, stop arguing. Red Snake is a slut. She's good at dealing with men. Master is obviously a little chick. He might not be able to control himself." Black Monkey said. "Yeah. Master is young and vigorous. How can he be indifferent to being seduced by a woman? It seems that our position in Master's heart can't be compared to this woman." Dan Wangkai sighed. Snake Viper was also feeling bitter. If it was in the past, he would still dare to order Red Snake. But now, he had become someone else's slave. How could he control Red Snake? "Filthy woman, stay away from him." But suddenly, an angry shout sounded. Everyone looked at Lu Hong. They saw Lu Hong's face was cold and her eyes were about to spit fire. The gorgeous woman's eyes flashed coldly. She turned to Lu Hong and said, "Who are you calling dirty?" "You." Lu Hong ran up angrily and violently pushed the gorgeous woman away from Qin Feiyang. "Interesting." The inner demons, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He stepped forward and hugged the gorgeous woman. He stared at Lu Hong and said, "I can be with whoever I want. Why do you care? Who do you think you are?" The gorgeous woman's face suddenly showed a trace of pride. She snuggled in Qin Feiyang's arms like a little bird. Lu Hong became angrier and angrier. She said angrily, "I can't care about your business. But your body now belongs to Qin Feiyang. I won't allow you to use his body to touch this kind of woman. What kind of woman am I? Tell me clearly. The gorgeous woman's eyes became colder and colder. Lu Hong snorted and said, "Humph, I'm already being merciful by saying that you're fickle and shameless." Yes, I'm fickle and shameless. But so what? As long as I can please a man, I'll be considered capable. And you look very pure, but to put it bluntly, you're just a vase. You look good but you're useless. The gorgeous woman retorted sarcastically. Lu Hong was about to explode with anger. Suddenly, she took out a dagger and stared at the inner demons, Qin Feiyang, and said, "You won't stop, right? Well, today, even if I have to risk my life, I'll die with you." After that, Lu Hong grabbed the dagger and rushed toward the inner demons, Qin Feiyang. How dare you! The gorgeous woman's killing intent rose as she stepped in front of Qin Feiyang. The emperor's might roared out and Lu Hong was sent flying on the spot, crashing into the wall behind her. Her face instantly paled and blood gushed out of her mouth. Inner demons, don't go too far. Wolf King and the other beasts quickly surrounded Lu Hong and glared at the inner demons, Qin Feiyang. What does it have to do with me? I didn't do anything. The inner demons shrugged. It's over, it's completely over. Looks like we'll have to call her madam from now on. Old poison, express your current thoughts. After all, the red snake used to be your subordinate. Dan Wangkai and the black monkey secretly mocked. Are you guys done? Viper's face was ashen. Dan Wangkai laughed, look at your face, it's as if your ancestor's grave has been dug up. Scram! Viper secretly shouted, about to go crazy. Get out of my way. Suddenly, a sharp and ear-piercing voice rang out. Viper and the other two looked over and saw the gorgeous woman arrogantly walking towards Wolf King and the other beasts. What do you want to do? Wolf King stood in front of Lu Hong and said gloomily. That woman's mouth is dirty, of course I have to slap her. Seeing that the inner demons, Qin Feiyang did not ask, the gorgeous woman thought that he had acquiesced and became even more arrogant. How dare you! The dual-winged snow eagle also stood in front of Lu Hong, its eyes flashing with shocking killing intent. A group of battle saints dares to be so arrogant in front of me, a battle emperor. You really don't know what's good for you. The gorgeous woman sneered. The terrifying emperor's might turned into a torrent and directly sent Wolf King and the dual-winged snow eagle flying. If you want to touch her, you'll have to step over our dead bodies first. The pangolin beast, black dragon snake, and ghost snake emperor stood in front of Lu Hong. The gorgeous woman raised her eyebrows and glanced at the inner demons, Qin Feiyang. Seeing that the inner demons, Qin Feiyang, had no intention of stopping her, she sneered, all right, I'll fulfill your wish. She took a step forward and landed in front of the three beasts. She raised her arm and slapped towards the pangolin beast and the others. Obviously, she really had the intention to kill. Who gave you the guts to hurt them? But at this moment, an explosive shout exploded, bringing with it a bone-chilling coldness. Everyone couldn't help but tremble and quickly turned their heads to look. The gorgeous woman also retracted her arm and looked back at Qin Feiyang in confusion. Because the person who shouted was Qin Feiyang. But at this moment, his hands were clenched tightly and his face was frighteningly gloomy. Moreover, his blood-red hair and eyes were also quickly fading away. That's right. Qin Feiyang's original body was back. He could see everything that was happening outside in his inner world. Seeing that the inner demons were getting more and more out of hand, he couldn't help but take back control of his body. Look, how come his hair and eyes have returned to normal? Could it be that little Qin Zi is not dead? He's back. Seeing Qin Feiyang's hair and eyes quickly turning black, Wolf King and the other beasts' eyes were full of surprise. It does look like the original body is back, But didn't the inner demons say that they have erased the original body's consciousness? Viper whispered, also very surprised and doubtful. Inner demons? Original body? Old poison, what do you mean? Dan Wangkai and the black monkey looked at Viper suspiciously. This person gave birth to the inner demons. Before, it was the inner demons that were controlling this body, but the original body's consciousness was erased by the inner demons not long ago. Viper thought to himself. How is that possible? The inner demons are ethereal things. How can they really exist? Both of them were dumbfounded. The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously for a moment, then walked up to Qin Feiyang with her enchanting body. She hugged Qin Feiyang's arm and said sadly, "Master, what's wrong with you? You scared me." However, before she could finish her words, the gorgeous woman's face turned pale, and then she collapsed to the ground and screamed in pain. Everyone hurriedly looked down and suddenly changed color. There was a bloody hole in the gorgeous woman's lower abdomen, and blood was spurting out like an arrow. At the same time, it was unknown when a dagger had appeared in Qin Feiyang's hand, and it was dripping with blood. What's going on? Everyone was confused. It's Chang Shui. Is little Qin Zi really not dead? Wolf King's eyes couldn't help trembling when he saw the dagger in Qin Feiyang's hand. Master, why? The gorgeous woman looked at Qin Feiyang in horror. Qin Feiyang put away Chang Shui and walked straight to Lu Hong. His eyes softened and he said, "I'm sorry I came out late and made you suffer." Are you really Qin Feiyang? Lu Hong looked at him in disbelief. It's me. Qin Feiyang nodded. It's really you, you're not dead, Lu Hong couldn't help but burst out. She burrowed into Qin Feiyang's arms and cried bitterly. Bastard, if you're not dead, why didn't you come out earlier? Why did you let the inner demons run amok outside? Look at everyone. What did he do to us? Wolf King and the other beasts were also sad and happy, and tears flowed down their faces. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I shouldn't have been soft-hearted and let him run amok. Qin Feiyang glanced at the other beasts, his eyes full of self-blame. Do you think an apology will solve the problem? Look at Xiao Hong. She thought you were dead. Her eyes are swollen from crying. Wolf King said angrily. Qin Feiyang looked down at Lu Hong. Her red eyes, her aggrieved expression, and the bloodstains on her face made his heart ache. I'm sorry. This kind of thing will never happen again. He hugged Lu Hong tightly in his arms and comforted her in a low voice. It's okay. As long as you're okay. Lu Hong shook her head. But the more Lu Hong acted like this, the angrier Qin Feiyang became. His consciousness entered the inner world. The inner demons were standing in the void not far away. When they saw Qin Feiyang come in, they immediately said angrily, "Why are you like this? Didn't you say you would let me stay outside for a day?"